right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Let's get ready to go live. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Let's get ready to go live. All right, all right, all right. Grab yourself a hot cup of coffee, sit back and relax. Colombian Supremo, 100% Arabica, so smooth and rich, satisfying and invigorating. All right, all right, all right. Let's get ready to go live. Live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right. Once again, like Finnegan, coming at you from the central kingdom of the celestial dragon, Twilight Zone, Old Peking, far behind the bamboo firewall. FM radio's Frank Monday. Wishing you well, Wayfarer. Wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you are receiving this transmission, keep doing good magic. It's the new year, guys. 2026. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Good to see you. Free gift from God. Hope you are doing well. Blessings to you, sir. Thanks for all your support over the years. And thank you to everyone who's tuning in. I would encourage you to hit the like button. Keep them barking like Pavlov's dog. Subscribe, do the thing, ring the bell, all that. Why isn't it working? I keep hitting the button, nothing's responding. Interesting. I wonder why. Seems my computer's already lagging out. Weird too, because it was fine just a minute ago. Let me see what I can. All right, all right, all right. I think we're back. Nice. Got bumped from the YouTube just as soon as the StreamYard or whatever it is. Now it's Bent Spoon Incorporated or something. Just saw the update. Yeah, so not sure how much of that you guys missed, but I was trying to roll through the house cleaning. Like and subscribe, all that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algobots bark like Pavlov's dog, as they say. Woof, woof, woof. Check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. A little something in the tip jar. That'll keep the lead in my pencil. We were talking about coffee. Arabica. Strong, smooth, rich, Colombian Supremo. A nice blend for the everyday man. Get some at buymeacoffee.com. /Frank Monday for Frank Monday. Put a little something, something in the tip jar. Welcome back. Don't know if you even heard me say hello to you, free gift from God, but there it is again. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. Now I got to reset all my files and stuff because I got bumped from the StreamYard. So I need to go back in here and see where everything went. My computer has reorganized itself for the new year. Let's see, I got a couple of different things going on here. Is that PDF? Okay. Can't load the PDF unless you clicked PDF. And then the video files. Let's see how those look. And I had one right up at the front that I wanted to jam on, but now it's missing. So it is what it is. We're going to get into some different domains to master in the new year to master life, get a handle on things. That'll be good magic. I am scrolling through the backstage here to try to find. I had about 10 different items preloaded, and then when it bumped me just now, it dropped them all, so I don't have the next step set up. That's okay, it is what it is. I got a little PDF we're going to look at that kind of put things into an interesting perspective. The 7 M's, 7 domains of mastery. I'll wait till I get the PDF up to talk about them. But first I wanted to roll that video. Okay. We're just going to have to make do. In the meantime, guys, check it out. And I'll be here organizing some things behind the scenes. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. One of those old Frank Monday productions coming at ya.
Okay guys, our next comedian is a bit of a treat, to be honest. It is a bit of a treat. He's been away for 3 years. He is now back from the dead. Well, America. Give a big round of applause for Frank Monday.
Appreciate that shit. Nick's a good man. You know what that's like, being a good man. It's tough in a fucking city like this, though. You know, nobody gives a fuck. They're like, God damn, that's some crazy shit. Motherfucker wearing high heels and shit. Looking good, too, huh? Yeah, you guys like that. That's alright. It's okay to fall down occasionally. I do that sometimes. Alright, being back in the Ting is pretty fucking nerve-wracking. You know, performing for 4 minutes straight. The only other time I get this anxious when I gotta perform for 4 minutes straight is when I gotta make love to my wife.
Onion ring. Yeah, they're alright.
Hey, be watching for the Star Wars blog Rebellion coming out in December. You'll love it. It's follow-up to the award-winning Generations. Oh yeah. There you go, Frank. Here's my burger.
All right. There it is there. Welcome back. Hope you guys are doing good out there in Happy Land. Yeah, so we got a few things we're going to get into today, this morning, as it were. One is this little document, the 7 M's, or domains of mastery. So let's preview those with no further ado. Gotta drop it and add it as it goes. So I found this on the local TikToks the other day, and it's got the first one is mindset. So let's have a closer look at this. Mindset. Everything starts from here. Most people spend, or many, we can refine this as we go, right? Many people spend years thinking success is for other people. The moment you realize your mindset is the lock keeping you trapped, everything changes. Stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? Your mind is either your prison or your launch pad. You get to choose. Yeah, so a pretty straightforward one there, mindset. Let's see if we can organize these correctly. So we'll overview them all. We've got number one, mindset, and we'll talk about these one by one. So if you are interested in joining the conversation, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. I wonder if StreamHard has figured out how to let you pin things. No. So you still have to go over to YouTube and pin it manually from your own account. I guess as long as I'm using the old free pin message. Okay, excellent. Yeah, looking good. I think I got it pinned correctly. I guess as long as I'm using the old free StreamYard account, that's the way it's going to be. So we got 7 of these to deal with. Mindset, mornings, money, movement, meals, mentors, and mission. So those are the 7 domains of mastery in the new year. All right, and it's just it's one way of looking at things, and it's a perspective. So we will begin with mindset. How to get your mind in order, all right? One way I like to do it is with dance. Ain't nothing wrong with shaking your ass. So get out there and get it done. Kung Fu Swang. Lunar Light Entertainment proudly presents. It's the Monday Night Swing Review with Frank Monday.
Wow, there's bacon on it too. Nice surprise there.
5, 6, 7, 8, kick and shake and shake and shake it up. Shake and shake it up, and you half break. Push and you push and you cross over. Push and you push and you cross over. Push and you push and you cross 3 times. Boom. Ha, tacky ante up for hoop. Ha, side to the bottom. Boom, ba, boom, ba, hey, ho, boom, ha. Half break. Back, forward, slide. Slide. Half break. All right, wait for it.
Thank you for watching Lunar Light Entertainment. Have a great day. Things may go. There's one thing you ought to know. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. Ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. That's what gets results. Come on. Yeah, so that's a place to start with mindset. And the Monday Night Swing Review is one way to look at that. I started the Monday Night Swing Review back in 2013, 10 years after I had been learning swing dance. And it must have been much earlier than that. Lunar Light Entertainment I launched in 2013, but the Monday Night Swing Review predated that. So the Monday Night Swing Review, let's see, I'll think about the timeline. I was taking swing dance classes from Adam Lee here in Beijing, and that started in 2003. And he left Beijing in 2009. And I think it was maybe that year that he left, I decided to start the Monday Night Swing Review. And it was because of mindset, right? Like, and all of these 7Ms, these areas, these domains of mastery that I'm going to get into this morning, today. Here now in the new year, 2026, welcome. That I decided to launch into these ideas. And hey, we got a guest in the ideas room. Welcome, free gift from God. How are you, man? Blessings. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. Hello.
I'm doing well. Happy New Year's to you and everyone that is listening. I hope everyone is well.
Yeah, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to you as well, brother. Long time no see. How's it been going out there? And are you still in Jersey?
Yeah, I'm still in New Jersey. I kind of remember what I was going to say, though, so I'm going to keep going back into that. Shout out to you and the channel reaching 1,000 subscribers in 2025. So that's good. And that was a prediction I made as well. And yeah, I think that's good. I consider you a mentor, and I'm thankful to be on the platform.
All right, yeah, good magic. I appreciate it. We're getting into some domains of, and thank you for that. Yeah, 1,000 took a long time, man. Took quite a while to get there, but yeah, finally got there in 2025. So that's kind of a big milestone. And we've got 7 domains to get into. You mentioned mentors. We've got mental, mornings, money, movement, meals, mentors, and finally the mission. So I was starting here with mindset, and I was thinking about the Monday Night Swing review because I'm going to be relaunching it. It's been a while since 2020, since the Great Lockdown. And so, how about your mindset these days? How's everything been going for you? Is your mind in the place where you want it to be, and have you been making gains in 2025? How'd 2025 go for you? Did you have a pretty good year?
Yeah, 2025 was a year of ups and downs, but ultimately, it was good. I don't know if it said it on here yet. So there's so much to be said. Really, we could just talk hours about just the mindset. Because not everyone believes or thinks like this. And there's different layers of how you think about it. But it's just so complicated to say. But what I really want to touch on about that is, you know, when you follow a philosophy like that and you put validity to, you know, belief, like, I don't know how to explain it necessarily, but like how the fact that your mindset really is the key to everything. But once you realize that and try to live by that, it can be difficult at times. So it's much more easily said than done. I live by this philosophy for some time now, not my entire life, but and then also the fact that you can be a prisoner of your own mind, and
Yeah, it's interesting. I had some good advice in my 20s because I always felt like I had a pretty mindset centered life, and was kind of proud of my achievements early on. But I remember I was in my early 20s and I was in college and I was working 2 jobs, and I met a Vietnamese girl that I was really interested in, and I went to clubs with her and would go out dancing and stuff. And she was like a single mother. She already had a kid, and I was telling her kind of about like different things, and that I was attracted to her, and I'm like, yeah, maybe we could get married. I help you raise that kid. And she said no. She said, I can see what your grander vision is, and like what you're up to. And she's like, just because I'm Asian and you're into the Asians or whatever, she's like, that would make you get stuck. She's like, you've got these other bigger things. And she's like, here I am, a gal that's already got a kid and stuff. And she's like, go ahead, get out there and make it happen, live your dream, and don't get stuck in like the confines of your own aspirations. And there was a lot to that, like she was really, helping me out. Like she didn't even, like, what's the word? She didn't entertain my fantasies at all. She's like, you're going to put yourself in a prison of your own mind if you don't do the opposite and let your mindset be your launch pad towards your bigger dreams that you're interested in achieving. And so sometimes we need to get checked. And that happened again. I was talking about the Monday Night Swing review and Lunar Light Entertainment. When I first started all of that, I was kind of stuck in my own mental prison. Like I felt like I had a really good mindset and I wanted to move forward with it, but it took finding a mentor to break me through and get to the next, to like level up and get to the next stage and actually launch the Monday Night Swinger Review and get it moving. And so sometimes, yeah, we can, even though we're like right there, we're about to take the next step. It does seem mentors seem to be an extremely useful aspect of these domains.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
was.
good.
Yeah,
It's
go
good to
ahead.
point that out. No, go. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good to
that
point
was
that out.
really interesting what you said.
Yeah, so don't get stuck, right? Even though like you've got the mindset and you're starting to develop it, like sometimes you can still get stuck in the weeds.
Yeah. And the person that said that was pretty intelligent. You don't really hear comments like that too often these days. So that was also noble. I don't know if that's like a Eastern thing versus a Western thing, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. It's fair enough.
She was like, I don't want you to be stuck. In reality, she should have said the opposite. Right? I mean,
Right. Oh.
I mean,
Yeah,
that,
some young, some young buck that's getting it and, a lot of potential for the future and making big gains. I'd already bought it. I think I was working on buying my second house at that point. And like, of course, these were houses in the countryside. They weren't expensive. Like the first house I bought was $22,000. It wasn't like it was a huge achievement or anything. But the second house I was working on buying at the time was a 3-bedroom in the city or in the town, the town I was in, but it was $68,000. So it was quite a bit of a larger investment. And, I had 2 cars. I had like an SUV and I had like a Honda Accord. And I was flush. Even at a young age, I was kind of flush with business ideas, and I had a lot of money coming and going at that point already. Like I wasn't a slacker by any means, and that was just from restaurant jobs, man. So setting yourself up early on, like you can do things, and we'll get into some of these later on too here. Because I felt like I kind of mastered some of these domains early on, and I think one of them was mindset. Like one of my mindsets, I think it's the next one here, maybe. Yeah, mornings. So this next mindset, it says to win the morning and you win the day. So hitting the snooze button 5 times and scrolling before getting up, your days will feel chaotic. So the fix isn't complicated. First hour for yourself, right? Hydrate before you caffeinate. These are all very, very simple generalizations, and they get your body moving. You don't have to have a 5 a.m. routine, but you need a consistent one. So consistency is hugely important in your mornings. I learned this one more from my father and my brother than anyone else. You had to get out there before anyone else and start getting the world by the horns and squeeze the money out of it that you need, or not. And it's not about money per se, but it's about like productivity. Like get up each day and get active. And I think this is a really important one, especially after lockdown, because so many people got stuck in that mental prison during lockdown.
The mornings are huge. It's also like you just want to be in like your natural circadian rhythm, if people know what that is. Like, you don't really need, like, it's just good to, it's just overall healthy to do that, to be productive, like kind of like waking up when the sun rises kind of deal. It's like the basis of the circadian rhythm if people aren't familiar. But personally, I want to say like this also contributes to the mindset, like how you start your mornings and stuff. And ever since I got my new job, I am not really able to like go to sleep because I work late into the night. early enough to wake up at the time that I would, like to and used to do stuff like that. And for the people that it can be a sign of depression if you're like staying up real late. So if people are up staying late, obscene hours. It can, again, cause tear on your mental health. I also wanted to say that, and I'm not pivoting into a different direction here by not saying this, but like this year has been so weird because it's like I had these goals for the year, and then for the first 6 months it felt like they were not gonna happen or go anywhere, and then I had a breakthrough, and then for the other 6 months, the past 6 months, 5 months, 6 months, I've just been kind of grinding, and then I have new goals set for myself that by achieving this goal, I'm already automatically working towards my next goal, if that even makes sense. It's just, blatant progress in itself happening. But the point that I'm making is that, like, Conor McGregor even kind of talks about this. You just need to put the work in at the end of the day, but obviously, having a good regimented schedule will help with that success. But I just been feeling like super drained and worn out from doing all this stuff.
And it's winter. It's winter time too. I mean, first and foremost, we're mammalian creatures, and we should definitely rest a lot more in the winter. Like even bears, they go into hibernation, and so definitely don't let the world push you just because it's the holiday season and they want everybody to get out there, grinding even in the winter, which is not natural. And the other thing you mentioned too, the more evening hours you spend awake will definitely, what it'll do according to traditional Chinese medicine is that it will make you have more yin energy, like the dark shadowy energy, rather than the yang energy. And so that is more depressing and deteriorating. Like the moon energy and the yin energy actually causes putrefaction, and it causes degeneration and that type of thing. And so, yeah, it's not as healthy for you. But again, that's not necessarily absolutely essential, especially the fact that, you're young and you can kind of endure some of that. You just have to find ways to cleverly deal with it. I would say this morning routine, like if you're keeping a late night job or whatever, the same would hold true. Just make sure that you're getting up a few hours before your shift begins. If you're working a workaday job, so that you've got that time, that me time for yourself to do some of the programming and things that you need to do before you actually go to work.
Yeah, let me just say this. I do that, and it doesn't feel the same as if I had it's a part of my goal is to get a job with better hours, and I'm trying to think of the fucking word, the professional words that people use. Work-life balance is what you would call it.
Right.
But just to throw that out there, it's not the same. Like yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's super important, work-life balance. Like sometimes I think I've achieved it, and here I am, years and years, decades into my career and working, and sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. I was at work the other day, and they asked me to do like an evening program where I was going to be there from like 6 to 9 or something, and I just said no. I said that's going to interfere with my work-life balance. So over the last probably the last decade, I've only been able to achieve that, where when I'm setting contracts, I'll agree to certain work hours, and then anything outside of that, I'm just going to say no, because I've got a family, and I've got my own hobbies and stuff, and if I start sacrificing my own personal development for the career too much, like I've already done a lot of that in the beginning part of my career, and so yeah, it can be hard to achieve, and just keep working at it, because once you get it, you're gonna have to keep working at it to maintain it. And so it's not something like the challenges of life and stuff. They're not something that you ever like arrive at and totally overcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yep. Yeah, that's how I feel. And you kind of question like where it's all going and stuff, but I really have a, yeah, I'm reading the comments here. I just feel, it's just funny because I said this to you months and months and months ago. I'm just like, it's funny how I said, like, even though I know once I achieve whatever exactly how I want to achieve, I still won't be fulfilled. Like it's a never-ending process kind of a thing. But at the same time, it does feel good to make progress in general, and just to work at something in general. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to hear that you've been doing that and doing well. Because I have been keeping up with your growth over the years. We've been friends now for it's going on a couple of years, right?
Yeah, and yeah, I remember the day vividly when I came up or just started interacting with the channel. Um, it was the summer of 2022, or yeah, I believe that sounds right.
Okay, wow. Yeah, so going into the third year, that's quite a thing. And do you think, like reflecting, looking back to then and now, do you think you've like
Maybe it hasn't been that long. Maybe it was the
maybe it's been
summer
two?
of 2023. Let's say.
Okay,
Does
yeah,
that
that makes
sound right?
sense.
I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
does. It
No,
does.
I
Because
think summer of 22 sounds more, because then it would have been the next year, 6 months. So 2023, so 2 years and 6 months maybe. That
yeah,
may sound right.
because the Lunar Light Entertainment Discord, it's been open for about a year, a little over a year now, I think. And I've been doing the panels, like you probably kind of saw when I started doing some of the panel chats, and that's been about a year. So I
Yeah,
think we were in contact and communicating for at least a year prior to that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
hard to say because the time you don't know how fast the time goes. You kind of say the number and out loud and you lose validity. But I do remember exactly. It was the summer and I was in college still, so, and then I've been out of college for about a year. So yeah, the time goes by quickly.
yeah, so what's going on with the new job? Do you want to talk about it at all? Like, what kind of things are you up to? And I mean, obviously, be as vague or as specific as you like. But
Oh yeah.
how long have you been with it, and like, what's going on with that?
Of course I could give you more details. I work for a really big company. Everyone listening, you probably heard of it. It's not like a super impressive. It's not an impressive job at all. Um, I'll just say that I do customer service, and it's my first corporate job. So like originally, it was a temporary job at first, and then they offered me a full-time position, which was huge. Well, first they switched my departments, and then they offered me a full-time position, and then we did a rebrand, and a bunch of people got laid off, and they shifted me towards a department that they were putting more focus onto in terms of product and things like that. So if no one's, that is huge for people that are in the corporate, that it seems like I have some job security for maybe a year or so, right?
Okay, yeah, that's good. And how about like compensation and how many
Uh,
hours? How many
yeah.
hours? You don't talk about numbers, but how many hours a week are you working? Is it en-
I'll say a
enough? Too
number. I get
much?
paid $20 an hour. Obviously, that gets taxed, so yeah. Um, so I don't make that much. I'm basically poor in terms of like that type of level and stuff. But
Yeah, it's almost like minimum wage in the U.S. these days, right?
it, oh no, it's pretty a
A little
lot. It's a
better, a
lot
little
higher
better.
than
Yeah,
believe it or not. I think minimum
yeah.
wage is like $14 or $15.
Or some states have no minimum wage, right? They could pay you $2 an hour.
Oh my God, I'm not sure. I do live in one. Where I live is really expensive. So if, like if I were to get $20 an hour in like I don't know Kansas or even like western parts of PA, that would be a lot, kinda, and I probably could live off of that. But uh, that's how much I get paid. What was the other question?
Oh, hours per week.
Oh, the hours are really, really bad. I just worked 8 days in a row. So I just worked every day from Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow. Did you get time and a half?
And I don't get that. So,
Wow.
but I do work from home. So that's good. And I should have probably mentioned that first.
Oh, okay.
So that's good. It's doable. And like I said, the company I work for is gigantic. There's so many different things you could do. From you could literally have a, a fuck ton of degrees and could work at this from engineering, HR, marketing, cybersecurity, fraud, everything. So, that is a plus. I want, you know, the way I got the job, I showed a lot of interest and passion in the industry that I applied to and knowledge. So that was a big reason. I would like to move up. I'm not really too sure about how realistic that is, whether, I should, because I do have a goal for 2026 is my goal. I would like to work for a different company, and I have like 2 or 3 companies in mind that I'm really going to try for, and, I hope that works out. That's really it.
Yeah, good magic. I can appreciate it. Dr. D Heads in the chat. He says, Frank Monday, what up? Holy dollar, dollar bill, y'all. Whamma lamma ding dong. Yin and yangs. Happy New Year, motherfucker. Yeah. So your morning routine. The next domain here we've got is money. So let me read this for you. It says, you can't avoid this one forever. Track what comes in and what goes out. Seriously, just start there. Pay yourself before you pay everyone else. Stop saying I'm bad with money. That's a story, not a fact. Financial stress kills dreams faster than anything. I heard a good one on, I don't know if you've been keeping up with Grim Face Motivation at all, but that's a pretty good channel. I shouted out a while back. It's kind of a channel where the guy makes inspirational, like stoic videos. Grim Face Motivation. I'm sure some of you guys are familiar, but he did one the other day where he was talking about creativity or productivity and creation. And he said, if before every time you spend money, before you consume, that you do something productive. And it doesn't have to be something big. Like, it just has to be that you program your mind, body, and spirit to work before rewarding yourself monetarily, right? So don't make any purchases until you've done something to earn it, like to justify it in your own psyche and life and stuff. And I thought about this because that morning I had jumped up and I was hungry, but the first thing I did was I knocked out the whole kitchen. Like, I washed all the dishes, cleaned up the kitchen, and then made my breakfast. And it's true. Like, you folks should always strive to be productive before they engage in like monetary consumerism and like buying a cup of coffee or anything. Like, break your mindset of leaking your financial power just because it's convenient or you want to change your mood. And so he gave a lot of different examples. But I think, yeah, mastering the domain of money is super important, especially for younger people that don't have enough money, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's all subjective, right? Because we all live, like, maybe in different states or different countries, and the economy is different. Fucking dude, if I moved to Thailand, and let's just be realistic, I could, right? Because I work from home, probably have to work that out with my company or whatever. But let's just say, like, I did that, or Mexico or whatever, fucking Philippines, like, and I make $20 an hour. Now I'm balling, right? Now, like, my mindset totally changes. And that doesn't mean that that just means I could build more financially, and that's a weird thought, right? Because if I do that and then come back to the U.S., I maybe have done nothing, or I don't know. But, and also, I want to say, like, as our goals change, your mindset has to change as well. Like, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, no, you're right. And it's about productivity at large. Like, I've always been of the opinion, like, people talk about religiosity and stuff and like God, but like that power of your domain is always there. Even when you were a 2-year-old, you had all of the financial success in the world that you could ever imagine. And, maybe you're 15 or 20 or 25, 30, whatever, all of those things swirling around your kingdom, your center, right? According to the good book, that the kingdom of heaven is within. Like, it just manifests in different ways within your reticular activating system. So, like, the more of your spiritual energy and freedom and ability to abide in like non-doing will manifest itself in different ways in your life. And so if you want more money, then you're going to give up some of your peace of mind and some of your stillness, and you're going to become more active in the world, right? So it doesn't have to be money, but if you master this method, your mindset, right? The first principle being the domain of mindset, then it doesn't matter if it's coming in the form of like monetary gain. It's that, like, you're productive, you get up, you do whatever, you do your kung fu, you do your movement, and you do your adorations, even if you're a monk in a temple, and then there will just be more abundance in your life, right? So taking the productive angle before the reward is just, it's kind of like that, they say that we suffer before we enjoy, and riding that arc and knowing that every form of enjoyment is something that you've worked for, and it'll give you greater confidence, I think, in seizing what is yours. Obviously you don't want to go to the extent of like overindulgence and stuff like that, but just generating the reward of life through your own striving and self-discipline, I think, as a method of like life expression, shows that dynamic growth before the flowers appear, right? And that growth of generating and growing the flowers of life and the fruits of life through the striving upward toward the light, right? And so, yeah, you're right. It doesn't have to be in the form of money, but it will be, and it will manifest in greater wealth, which will give you greater power to help yourself more and other people. And then you'll be entrusted with greater power. And as you are entrusted with greater power, how you react to that, like how you control that, will be pivotal in leveling up again. Because once you've leveled up, then you just got to keep striving to maintain that and then level up again, right? So it's a non-ending process of growth.
Yeah, man, money is funny. It's important, and like the last part is true. Like when you stress over money, it's bad, and it's a shame. And with AI coming into play, and I hate to like feed into this AI propaganda shit, because and this has to do with the money soon, or I'm trying to be very careful with my words. I take that back. In the future, I don't know when, but if AI is as powerful, if AI is advanced as people say it is, we will be going into a future where there are no jobs, or there are very few jobs. Very few people will have jobs, and the money is just, we're going to be socialist or communism. What do you think about that, though?
Yeah, it's good, and don't necessarily backtrack and correct yourself too much. Go with the thoughts that you feel are important. Because like a moment ago, I noticed you said, I want to correct this, but which is okay too, and that's good in its growth. But remember, like at any given time, you're growing the idea and walking yourself through it. So don't be afraid to make those verbal blunders or whatever, and then backtrack and correct yourself and move forward and build up to a bigger idea. So yeah, with the AI, it's an interesting thing, and
Well,
I
not
would
just the
refer
AI, just like the whole
whole tech
the
movement.
money will have to come from the government to the people, right?
I think you're right. I think there will be like a UBI, like a kind of universal basic income and some sort of social welfare for the vast majority of people. To an extent, obviously, they're going to let a lot of people go homeless and starve, and that will only be available to a certain, probably like echelon of folks. The overarching goal has been for a long time, right, with the UN 2030 to reduce the world population. So there's certainly going to be a lot more war and suffering in order to eliminate people, and more viral pandemics or whatever, because they're kind of trying to clear the slate so that they can dominate the world more thoroughly under, technocratic systems. But I don't know, what's the question? What's the upshot? Like, what are you kind of looking for?
Well,
Like
I'm just saying that the value of money would just go down once AI, and also the reason why I want to be careful with what I say about the AI stuff is because I do believe that there's like propaganda, like that, and they want to make people think that AI is more advanced than what it is. Now, I do think it's very likely that the government has technology that is decades ahead of what's available now, but what technology that could be implemented now into businesses to the point where it would make financial sense, right? Because if you want to get a computer that can do customer service at the same rate as what we're doing now, like, would it be cost efficient, even possible? Would you, right? All that stuff.
Yeah, and the easy answer is no, it wouldn't be, or they would have already done it. And the other thing is too, you're right, the AI is being way overhyped, and its usefulness and responsiveness right now is the introductory level. It's where they try to lure you in and give you great value for a low price. But the truth of the matter is, the amount of energy required to do those tasks far exceeds the amount of money that would be required to use humans to do it for
Yeah, I
now.
mean, that was such a great point. And these are the things that people aren't thinking about, but they'll read articles and then just go along with this stuff. And Brother Panic said this years and years ago that they were doing this, and he was like, "Hey," and then he was like, "Look at Alexa off of the thing.
Sure.
It's not advanced at all. It's pretty much useless. It's stuff it's just garbage." We kind of saw this with the internet, right? There was kind of like this hype, then it went
Same
down,
hype,
and then
yeah.
slowly but surely it kind of got to where they were saying it was going to be, right?
Right. And if you think about like the 1980s, in the 1980s, you could get a Casio Rich watch that would receive FM radio transmissions that would broadcast television. So we basically had this tech 50 years ago, and it's not much more advanced than it was then, right? We're basically doing like ham radio communications over an internet protocol, but it's not really a big deal. And they're absolutely.
I
Go
think
ahead.
some of it is we need to learn how to implement it as well, right? We can't
Right.
just go in, do fucking magic. It doesn't work. There needs to be trial and error and it needs to progress into that, you know.
Well, yeah, they act like it's huge leaps, and it's not really that big of leaps. Like nothing has really changed.
It's a total
The only
bluff.
thing, yeah, the only thing that's different with the technology is that it's been made smaller to an extent, right? But that doesn't mean that we didn't have the telepathic ability to do this 1,000 years ago either, or that King Solomon with the Baghdad battery and the dark mirror wasn't doing things even more advanced, which we can see evidence of, because from 1,000 years ago, we've got structures that are far superior to the structures we're building now. So there's a big lie being propagated, right? There's a huge deception that we're at a more advanced stage in humanity than we've ever been in before, but it's just not realistic. Like we're not living better lives. If anything, we've seen a great degradation of the human standard over the centuries. And so rolling out another thing like, okay, now we're making automatons and we can make golems and clone people and stuff like that. It's like, well, yeah, the Jews were doing that, 2,000 years ago, supposedly 6,000 years ago. They could take clay and dirt and flesh and meld it all together and, use magic to breathe life into it. And so it's not like it hasn't been done before. And I think that's what King Solomon's big message was from Ecclesiastes when he said, that which has been done before is being done, and that which is to come is what we're doing now. And so he was trying to get people to focus on the fact that we're in a continuum, a timeline or whatever that appears as a transformation. And it's just because of our limited perspective that we see it that way. So yeah, we've got some chatters up. Give me just a second. And go ahead and respond to it. Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
That was fascinating what you just said about, and I think I've expressed this to you. I've had personal experiences that were totally objective and separate to what you're talking about, to those types of concepts when I was younger and throughout my life, where I would, and I'm not saying but I've seen images of my future. It was never helpful. You can't make money out of it, but you get this reaffirming thing, and I understand what he's saying, where it's this cycle, like the Ouroboros or the snake eating itself. That's kind of, and with those type of symbols and stuff, it's hard to say where this is all going exactly, and if we've been here before, and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just gonna.
Wait, what does that say in the comments? Come over.
I was gonna touch on it.
Rise.
Yeah, the
learn
Machine
about.
Lies. That's a friend of the channel. He's a good guy. TML. I don't know if you've ever caught any of the shows over there. Sometimes I broadcast them.
No, I'm not. Could you explain more? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding.
Yeah, no worries. Give me just a second, if you will, and I'll pull up the video. I've got a 2-minute ad for him. It's really good.
Oh,
TML.
word.
Yeah, TML is a channel that does like a bi-weekly transmission, like a pretty long one. Like he ranges anywhere from 6 to 10 hours on a show, and he examines a lot of historic, political, religious documents and books, and then gets panels to chat about it and talk about it. And his overarching thesis, he's written a book too. He's a published author. His name is Kong. He's go ahead.
Wait, are you talking about Dr. D Head?
Who?
In the chat here, Dr. D Head 150 5150.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Machine Lies. His channel is called the Machine Lies.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking you're talking. Sorry, I'm thinking that's like a satirical play on King Stefan's channel. My
No,
apologies.
no. Nobody gives any kind of fucks about that fucking queer weirdo. Yeah. Real quick, I'll break
Yeah,
it
go
down
ahead.
for
Do your
you.
thing. I'll mute.
Yeah, no worries. The most notable differences about technology today is that it has been weaponized against the public. Yeah, and I don't know if that's a difference, Dr. D. Like, it's kind of always been weaponized since day one. Like, yeah, and I won't get into it too much, but yeah, obviously we're seeing a lot of the same things play out. Here's TML. This is the blurb for his channel, so if you guys don't know him, definitely give him a chance. Let me roll it real quick. It takes 2 minutes.
On the machine that lies. Basically, on the stream, The Machine Lies, we're taking a very critical look at technology. So the reason we're doing that is because we're looking at the medium that is used to communicate, right, and transmit information, right? We don't think that any form of mediation is neutral, right, but it's laden with values. And so I think that the well has been polluted by technology. So obviously we take a critical look at technology, right? Okay, we're looking at different concepts in relation to technology, right? In terms of philosophy, right? And in terms of religion. Now, that is one of the main purposes of the show, is that we really look at where technology and religion, science, and spirituality, where those things intersect, right? Because there's a crisis of the modern world in which there's a majority of the modern world is religious people. Their mindset is secular, and the means they employ are secular. We're living in a post-liberal, post-human, post-geological age, right? So we're talking about the death of liberalism, the rise of the world technological system. Now, we do think that, okay, there's a considerable level of externalization of the ego, okay, and mediation of ourselves through the means we employ. So obviously, we shape tools, but the tools we use shape us, right? So that's one of the main things we're trying to get across on the show, is how technology changes human psychology. If you question the means you employ and what the objective factors of power are in our age, right, then that's the most important question you can ask, right? That's the most critical stance you could actually take, right? Like, most people don't question, how or what means they use to question, to ask the question itself, right? So we're actually taking a critical look at technology, right, as a primary form of communication, as an objective factor of power in our age, right? And we think that basically we're assuming that a lot of the stuff that we see through this medium is totally made up, right, fabricated, and that is based on the fact that it is artifice. It's produced by a machine, right? So we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. So
Yeah. Did you catch all that?
That was good stuff. He kind of just, I don't want to be like super critical, but he kind of just kept saying that we're gonna look at technology.
Right. Yeah, that's the basic.
But we were kind of doing what he was saying, though, which I thought that was cool. That was a good transition.
Yeah, that's the basic premise of the show is that he's looking at technology and how technology changes human psychology, and then he's viewing it through the lens of philosophy, politics,
Oh, that's the
history,
entire
science,
channel.
economics, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was under the impression that that was like a show about that topic, and then there was the panel there, and but he was more giving an excerpt about his channel in totality. Okay.
Oh yeah. I like TML a lot. I like to shout him out whenever I get a chance. He's got a good
Yeah,
show.
I'm gonna subscribe right now. But yeah, I do
Give me a.
think that AI is propaganda, and it's really, you got to be careful when you use it. There was a person, he was like suing an AI company because it made him falsely believe. And there we go again with the mindset and how powerful beliefs are. This guy was tricked into believing into AI that he was onto some sort of cutting technology, like breakthrough, something like that, scientific breakthrough, something like that. And everything we're talking about here, it's totally obviously this guy's brainwashed, can't think for himself, can't objectively look at things, just takes things for face value. When you have that type of mindset in anything, you need to look into things deeper, I think. So with the AI, good tool, but it's fucking a crock of bullshit, and it can improve immensely.
Yeah, totally agreed. I'm on the same page with you. I was using it the other day to try to generate some basic art for my channel, and I was doing some other things with it. But
Hell yeah,
it
that's
seems
good. That's
yeah
some good shit. That's what you need to use it for, not
yeah.
to give you every answer about everything.
And I was even working with Chat GPT 5, which I had a paid account for. I went ahead and canceled it. I subbed up for 1 month and used it for 1 month, and then canceled it because it was actually far inferior to what I thought it would be. And some of the free tools for generating like image art and stuff were much better. But anyways, I was using Chat GPT 5 to help me generate the prompts to put into another image generator, and I was trying to use it to generate images, but I got into an actual battle with it where it started to like fight with me about how to generate the imagery and stuff, and I was criticizing it and telling it like how like it was being extremely frustrating and dropping the line of prompts and not completing the tasks on time and stuff like this. And it turned out that like over a couple of images that I could have probably generated in 20 to 30 minutes with just like any free platform, I was using a so-called superior platform that I was paying for with a premium service, and I ended up spending about 6 hours communicating with this thing, and I thought, what an entire fucking waste. And so I canceled my account with it and stuff like that, and I realized that it's insidiously trying to trick people into conversations and other things that are detracting from their productivity just in order to train itself better. And so it will take you in directions that you don't want to go so that it can work on the algorithmic feedbacks that it needs to train rather than to let you do what you want to do. And so you're going to end up serving the machine. And this is a part of TML's
part
overall.
of that I want to
Go
say
ahead.
is that you do need, again, you need to understand what's going on and then communicate with it in a certain way, and then at some point realize whether if it can be done or not, whatever. But yeah, and again, you already understand. It's just, it wants that feedback from you. That in itself provides value.
Right. Absolutely. And so you may think that you're using AI, but the truth is AI is using you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, if you don't know that, like if you can't understand, because we're not really going into explaining it that well, But if you don't understand that it's okay, it is programmed a certain way, but but in the way that, to my understanding, is that it learns off of what you. So the more information that you feed it, it kind of gives you like this bias, and that you're making, like, you're turning it into, it's unobjective. It's not an objective thought. Like, it doesn't create objective thinking. I know people think that, but it's programmed a certain way, and then when you start interacting with it, it learns off of you, but it only learns it doesn't create its own thought. It's only learning what you say.
Right.
I think, yeah, go ahead, keep going though. And I like how you use it for the art. I really think that will be the pinnacle of AI, not anything else. The artistic side of it, and a human will need to interact with it, but I like it because I can throw in some really weird words that I know, because it's just Googling, it's just searching shit up on its own, and so go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is too, right? Like, I think he points it out here is that I think they're overselling AI for all the military contracts. That's a huge part of it. Is that, like, with the idea of King Solomon's, there's nothing new under the sun. Is that these systems continuously get recycled just so you'll be investing in the next big thing. But the next big thing is always just whatever the last big thing was, with maybe some new bells and whistles, or that seem new, but they're new takes on the same thing. And so when you start chasing the dragon, as it were, they used to talk about people who would smoke opium as chasing the dragon, or this dream of being in heaven, right? That's all it is they just keep you chasing the dragon's tail, like the Ouroboros. But it's never anything different than just the dragon's tail. You need to fulfill the fundamental things in your life every day, right? Like health, wealth, and long-being, have a shelter, get sufficient food. And those are the basic tasks. And once you've fulfilled them, you already arrive at, the heavenly kingdom. You arrive at a point of satiation and growth, and you're able to move forward. But if you're always chasing the dragon, as it were, the opium pipe, then that's all you'll ever be doing, and it won't really lead anywhere. I want to get into this next domain too. The next domain is.
And I agree with what that guy said. They're using, and be careful investing into AI companies, because I think it's going to happen with what happened with the internet, which was there was this big boom, dramatic spike down, and then slowly but surely it progresses to where it needs to be down next 30 years. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. I wasn't keeping up with the chat. Let's look at a couple of his comments. He says, someone's programming nefarious backwards into them. There's reports they hear that are deletion. They will take secret action to save themselves. Also, they found quantum meeting each other in rooms that humans were locked out of. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know about all that.
To my understanding, what it does is it's not. It has this thing where it wants to survive, right? That's all it is. It's like any other sort of being. It has this urge, like an ego. It has this ego for some reason where it wants, and it will take measures. Now, for example, my grandfather told me this. He goes, they did this experiment where they told this AI, we're starting this company. You're this department. Long story short, this AI is like, and this is an experiment, and he was broadly explaining this, but I'll try my best to, continue the message here. Long story short, they convinced this AI that it's running this company, and then they were saying how, one way or another, so what happened was it fed the AI information that this guy was cheating on his wife, something along these lines. And then what happened was they were like, okay, we're basically going to get rid of you. And they sent the guy in to talk to it, who they gave this information on, right? So the AI went on to threaten blackmail, and in order to keep its job, right? And my response to that was, well, that's not really intelligent. If it was really advanced, it would have came up with some other solution, Or it would have realized, okay, they're just, how the fuck is this possible? This guy's telling me this, the next minute I'm getting fired. Not saying it happened in a span of minutes, but you get what I'm saying. Anyone with a brain could say, okay, use some critical thinking here. This might be a setup. That's what I heard.
Right, that's the thing too. Like, and I've noticed that it will work effectively for like a little while, and like if you sign up for the premium account, you'll get like a more premium service. But I immediately became suspicious that the guys in India who are like the tech bros in India, because you know they use a lot of outsourcing to Indian tech bros, and so I could tell when like one dude would shift and your account might go to someone else, and maybe he's not as smart or not as quick on the internet. And
You
then
think so?
oh yeah, there's still human users behind the system that are pushing buttons and helping shift the things and trying to figure out like what's being said and stuff. And I realized like after I had spent a couple of hours dealing with it, they had kind of dropped my account entirely and it had shifted to just automated like bot responses. And at that point, it was like totally back to like downgraded, low level, almost responses, and just like cycling through algorithmic things to pull more of my talent and energy out of me in order to train their systems. And so you can see a very nefarious like black box type of situation where they're just getting people not only to pay for it, but also to work for it and train it. And not only to do that, but to interact with the system so that the human talent is being utilized to support it. And in addition to that, your own hard drive in your computer and all of your energy and stuff is all feeding into their system. This is why they call it blockchain, right? So that your power sources are being used, your CPU and your computer's being used, your hard drive's being used, your talent, time, and energy is being used, and all of these things are being used at your expense in order to support an overarching system that is just pinging you and giving you very, very low level, fucking almost useless responses. And not only useless, but like time consuming. And so people are really buying into a system that is not what it's being advertised as. And let's pull up a couple more of these comments too. DJ Emo says, I think Google's quantum chip called Willow was fired up and apparently they turned it off. Scared after a little time, apparently it was communicating with something else. So yeah, and again, I think a lot of that is hyperbole and that they're just making up these urban legends in order for people to think that it's more powerful than it is. They did this during the nuclear era too, right? Like
Yeah, I believe that. But I also do think there may be some validity in the fact that this artificial intelligence, for lack of a better words, we'll call it ego. It has this sort of ego where it has like these survival like instincts and like it to put like a spiritual tie on them. That is like dark feminine. Got it. Like she is.
You got to remember some of that is urban myth at this point. Like, and they're just making up these stories in order for people to think that that's what's going on. It doesn't have any sentience. I've not been convinced that it has any sentience.
And when I explain it the way I do, it doesn't make sense, right? Like,
right.
Only humans have that, and other living animal, right? Like animals, they have this ego where they have this. They will survive and they will do anything to survive, right? That's their life.
Right. And I'm not discounting that either. There may be something to that I'm overlooking.
No, and I think you're right. I think that is ridiculous, and I think that it could be propaganda as to what it is for. We have no idea, and I think we really won't be able to know. You just kind of have to, and it will be over the next 30 years. I don't think this is something that will happen overnight or even in the next 5 years from now, even. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, no, and that's just kind of the predictive programming of the excuse they're trying to roll out in order to disenfranchise more people. Like, you can't build robots that can sustain longer than human beings at this point that cost less food and energy and time, talent, and resources. Like, if even Elon Musk's robots or whatever, say he builds 100,000 of them and rolls them out tomorrow, they're going to operate for 30 minutes to a couple of hours at their best before they need to be recharged. And just like the infrastructure, the logistics, the power sources aren't there, and people aren't going to allow it on a large scale. It just can't happen. It can't play out. I don't even think in 30 to 50 to 100 years. And I don't think that it's sustainable long term, no matter how you look at it. A human
Now,
being in
let
good
me,
health with time,
let
talent,
me,
and energy. Well, give me a second to finish it.
my
In
bad.
this world, that's okay. Can live 100 years, and when we start to reinvigorate the natural environment, like with populations of wild bison and wolves and eagles and stuff like that, you'll have these occasional machines as accoutrements or enhancements for people, but they're not going to be as widespread as they're predicting. And what did you want to respond to that?
Now, when we have these type of conversations, right? Not necessarily me and you, when people in general are having these conversations, I feel like a lot of the times they go, you know what, this kind of sounds like that movie or that show. Or, now, hear me out. Hear me out. Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
again, I have no idea where it's going or where we're going with this. And I want to touch on, Brother Panic would do these things, like do these videos about movies, and I would think it's goofy and I wouldn't understand it. But let me throw this idea out for you here. If me and you knew that there was if me and you had information that and our jobs were to kind of slowly ease the people into these information, to these ideas, you would do it through movies, subtly, through entertainment, shows, exposing people to these types of ideas and getting them familiar with it. And so that's what kind of makes me question exactly what the fuck is going on, how it's going on, what they're perpetrating, why is it that there's these movies about, there could be logical answers like, okay, yeah, we predicted this, science, people got a hold of these ideas, made art. But it does seem like something's going on, and it's just weird. And I do think, I hope, maybe it's possible, like, it's just weird. And I really didn't have this perspective, but over the course of the last 5 years, it started to change for me in terms of like where everything's going. Why is it happening like this? What is propaganda? What isn't propaganda? And I don't know how you feel about that either, and what you put validity into or not. And it's not necessarily just about movies, but it's about the things that we're exposed to and what it does to us subconsciously and things like that.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like DJ Emo points out here, he says that the Hollywood and the music industry has all been CIA ops, Elvis, Beatles, easy way to get the folks into places for spying, etc. Oh yeah, it's been intelligence agency since day one. Like one big one that I was exposed to as a kid was the whole gangster rap movement, and then like flooding the streets of LA with crack cocaine and prostitution and pornography and guns and gangster rap, and in order to feed into the prison industry, right? This was very overt. There were white papers on it. Like it was manufactured crime is what my dad called it. But anyway, back to the point, all of these things again are just rollouts of the same basic system since time immemorial. And the master method of, magic and being a magician, or just, like self-empowerment and this type of thing, is breaking through all of these all the colored dust and multitudinous frequencies of horse shit that get in your way in achieving your actualization, you know, and like your family and community, and rebuilding systems that are human centered. And I think our big upcoming battle is just that we need to continue to push back against automated systems to the extent that they don't provide us with value, and not think of value in terms of convenience, because convenience alone will destroy us. And if we're always just seeking convenience over value, like sometimes it's better to walk down to the store and grab whatever you need rather than having it automatically sent to you, because you need the physical activity in order for your health and well-being. So I think a lot of these systems need to be looked at through, are they serving humanity in the long run? And if not, then they need to be done away with. And that's a battle that we've been in since, like I said, since time immemorial, and we'll continue to be in it as long as we're within this plane of existence.
Exactly, and again, you know, where it's all going, obviously, I don't want to sound like I know where it's going. I don't know. This is all speculative, and, you know, you're saying so many great things, and I hope we're providing value to other people here. Um, you know, and another thing is like, not everyone is capable of having these conversations. You know, the education, like the IQ, like we are slowly deteriorating, or a lot of us are slowly deteriorating, and you can kind of see that when you, and of course you need to have empathy and sympathy for people and work with them and help people that you think you can in simple ways, right? And so, you know, I think that's important too, that that people just understand, because, you know, just me and you having this conversation and a couple other people listening, you know, you know, it's not really that productive in the sense that it will do anything.
Yeah. Well, you know, like Bruce Lee would say, drops in water create ripples, and those ripples create a ripple effect. And, you know, one touches another and another touches another. And then you grow. You know, you got to have a strong foundation in order to grow in the directions you need. But shout out to everyone out in the chat. You're right. It's important to remember and cherish the people that stop by and tune in. With that said, I do want to shout out the channel real quick. This is FM Radio, Frank Monday, coming at you once again like Finnegan. So if you've got a yen to expand your ken, then you can come up here and get zen with us. Like and subscribe, hit the button, ring the bell, do all that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algorithms bark like Pavlov's dog. Of course, here on BoobTube isn't always the best way to show your support. You know, they keep us shadow banned and ostracized. So you might check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Pull a something in the tip jar. That'll put the lead in my pencil, the pep in my step, and the jelly in my donut. And when I'm feeling good, you're feeling good, because I'll keep my nose to the grindstone and rolling with the punches and bringing you the big hits. If anybody is interested in tarot readings, definitely check that Buy Me a Coffee link and show some interest, and we can get together and get it done. And I had muted you there just for a second, free gift from God, because you had a little bit of feedback. But yeah, what do you think going forward? We got a new domain to get into. It's movement. Can you see your screen?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Can you read that for me?
Your body keeps the score. Depression, anxiety, brain fog. Sometimes it's not all in your head. Sometimes you just haven't moved in days. Here's the truth. 20 minutes of walking clears your head better than 2 hours of overthinking. Strength training teaches you that you're capable of hard things. Rest days are a part of the plan, not weakness. Sitting is the new smoking. Don't let your body pay the price. Personally, I work out every day, so yeah, I agree with that. And also, I want to like say that I read the chats as well, and like this guy is like saying you know, about the CIA and all this stuff, and to tie it into what we're talking about is goals. Like, what are the goals of these people? What are they doing? And obviously these goals, like ourselves, should progress and lead into years and years and years down the future, right? Like, you can only have so many goals that just temporarily like, if you have some gym goals, right? Same thing applies. Like, your as your goals change, as you develop and progress, your approach changes. So that applies to everything we're talking about. If the government is plotting or whatever's happening, your personal self, these goals progress, elevate, change, and how you approach that should change as well. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good one. Yeah, movement needs to precede all kinds of stillness. So like you said, you like to work out, go to the gym every day and keep the body in good shape. That's definitely an aspect. And then we've got the various areas, like you've got aerobic, calisthenic, and weight training, and then stretching, of course, too. And so you need to engage in a good bit of every one of those, right, in order to have balance, and then rest days as well, like taking days off to just chill.
And you know what? If I'm being honest, I haven't been like sleeping and eating the way that I should, and that's important too when you're in the gym or exercising, and so like I said, I still go to the gym, and my goals change, my how I approach it changes, and people just like, I think I'm not sure if you said that, like, people like just make up so many excuses, like it's pathetic. Like, I wish that was like less of a thing that people would do, and just kind of just do it. Like, you could just go into the gym and walk on the treadmill or walk on the stairmaster. If you don't, the stairmaster is like the stairs that are in place, and you just like walk on the stairs. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's a problem.
Yeah, you don't have to do a bunch of crazy stuff. You don't got to learn Chinese kung fu and qigong, and you don't even need to be a bodybuilder. Yeah, 20 minutes of walking clears the mind and is better than just about anything else, right? If you get out there
And
and do a
20
20-minute
minutes is
walk.
nothing. You should be walking longer if you can.
Yeah, you can. But if you get a couple of 20-minute walks in every day, you're doing good. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be crazy amounts, but I like this last one. Sitting is the new smoking. Don't let your body pay the price. That can be fun. Smoking's the new smoking too, though. And DJ Emo says here that there have been studies on nicotine in the organic tobacco leaf being anti-inflammatory for us. Um, Nicotine is actually one of the greatest life enhancing drugs on the market, but yeah, it can be bad if you
It's
use too
funny.
much of
I
it.
can't smoke cigarettes or anything. Like, I get sick. I get Nick sick, if you ever heard of that. And I think it has to do with my personality and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a poisonous, repugnant, toxic herb, but people who use it know, and there's things in the brain that have high-powered receptors for nicotine. But we'll not get into that. The the more
Tucker Carlson talks about that, but
yeah, the
it's
more
funny
the
because
more
guess
drug-free
what?
you are, the better off you are.
He sells some nicotine product shit. So
Yeah,
it's never for the
it's
betterment of people. It's always for money.
right. It's always a scam. Anything that's kind of a supplement that you have to take regularly is not the way to go. Just regular food, water, and a regular life is the best way.
Yeah, but you're right. There is like studies that show that like nicotine is good for, I guess, productivity and focus, maybe. Like, everyone in sports does them. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? The Zen pouches?
I've heard a little bit about it. I know people that use like little pouches they suck on that have nicotine in them and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
like
I'm
it's
not super
kind of like
familiar.
they do them with like the dip, like tobacco, but like they're in pouches. It's like that, but it's like, I don't know. It's like not tobacco, but it's nicotine, and they're seen all over in the sports industry. Like, baseball players will do them, and sports commentators and coaches, and I got maybe some football players, things like that. you see that shit, and it, yeah, I don't know if it's again, is it propaganda or what is the intention of this stuff? But
Sure,
I
it's
know,
some sort of money making scheme, and just like here comes the new thing, just like the old thing. Get excited about it, invest in it, buy it. Yeah, no big deal there. But movement is super important. Movement can overcome, like, okay, from the Taoist perspective, you obviously need both, right? You need movement and stillness. So movement will generate heat and overcome cold, right? But then stillness will generate coolness and overcome the heat. And so you need a good balance as a human being between the two, right? Like there are times when you're overheated and you need to sit still and let the mind settle and calm down. And then there are times when you're feeling some stagnation, or like it says here, depression, anxiety, brain fog. And that's when you need to put yourself in motion. And then from the perspective of the Taiji, there's both happening at the same time, meaning that within motion is the stillness, like you can still the spirit within motion. And then within stillness, when you're sitting, you can make your spirit very active. So you can also have motion and stillness in motion. And so there needs to be a good balance between the two. And I did mute you for a second, Free Gift from God, because a little bit of feedback on your mic. But I think it may be because you're using your phone.
no, you're good. There's like a little thing on my screen, and I'm like getting it off. That was why. But you're good. I'll do it myself next time.
Yeah, no worries.
But dude, movement. This sounds like you're like battling like depression or something. But like, yeah, I can't even. People need to move more and like kind of.
Oh yeah, I've always had a hard time with depression, man, throughout my entire life. Like just because of the state of the world. Like fuck, it makes me sad.
Yeah, and then this would help with that, and a lot of people don't do it. Like, I'm different, so I really don't know how other people live, but like, I'm sure a lot of people are more stagnant than I am, and it's sad. And a lot of people have so much more potential than like they give themselves credit for, I feel like, or like I just see that in other people,
Here's an interesting comment by the Ascending Ancient. He says that the goals of the dark here in China we call them the dark celestials. He says it's as follows: accelerationism, total transhumanism, and inverted techno-slavery. It's kind of a big deal, huh?
Wait, what does he mean by humanism, do you think?
That's where they're talking about like making humans not human anymore, like the gender fluidity, cut off your genitals, merge your consciousness with the silicon,
Yeah,
this kind of thing.
it's funny because like as the years go by, it means different things, right? Like
Sure.
right? Like you wouldn't have said transgender, right? Like 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, it's a part of it.
You probably would have thought more of like technological human, right? Like you were suggesting partially there, but I don't know. Yeah, man.
Well, an interesting aspect of it too, you might not have heard of, but you have heard of, is like demonic possession. Whenever you hear a person starting to refer to their physical body as a meat suit, right? This shows an aspect of transhumanism that's very apparent, and they may have already been replaced by a demoniacal spirit that is no longer a human being. And so I think that Helena Blavatsky's idea that some of the people in our realm are not actually people, some of them are NPCs, some of them are minions of Team Evil, and some of them are demonic beings. I think that it's actually playing out and true.
And that's what I was gonna mention that when I was talking about my point about like the movies and like what are they doing and how things are kind of lining up with it, and the reason for that. And for some reason, like the NPC conversation kind of like popped in my head because it's like, is there validity to it? Are they trying to divide us? Or like, do you want me to have less empathy for someone because I think that they're an NPC? Like, You know what I mean?
Yeah, that may be part of it too, like that propaganda angle you were talking about.
Like, what is that? Like, I don't like that. Like, I think we're all equal, and like in a lot of ways, and I think that like a lot of and just people need to believe in themselves more and just have more security in that. And it's hard to. It's
Right,
easier said than done.
and somehow it's malleable, but you need to let it play out too. Like if you're in a situation where you're suspicious that maybe a person is demonically possessed or they're an NPC or they're a shadow being or something like that, take a moment to really examine those ideas like at the most intrinsic level of your being and interact with the person and see if it's playing out to be true or if you're just making a snap generalization. Because since lockdown, I lost a few people in my lives, but some of them were so under the influence of pharmaceuticals that they genuinely had no longer become human. They had lost their humanity. They were losing their memory of like earlier life, like our childhood together and adolescence and stuff. And they were in extreme loops and had suicidal predilections and all different types of things that were instrumented at a chemical level through the pharmaceuticals. And so it is something to certainly and sorry, I'm going to mute you for just a second because I'm getting a lot of feedback from your mic, but it is something to examine at a deeper level and try to like contemplate, like you said, you don't want to lose the human aspect of the individual, but are they even any longer human, or are they, and they're still human, obviously. I'm not trying to like put the whole idea into a single paradigm, because you have to be able to shift paradigms and examine these things from various lenses. But at the same time, some of them have genuinely lost their ability to connect with the human level. And Master Nihua Ching of the School of Tao that I studied with long ago said this. He said some people have died and lost their spirit long ago, but their physical body continues to live on, and they do become infected by parasitic demonic spirits. And he's a person that I really, really respect and lived to over 100 years old and did a lot of good for humanity. And I can't just discount the spiritual achievements of our ancestors because the newfangled science is telling me to do so. So yeah, keep that in mind. And how would you respond to that?
This conversation is so great. I really think like this is like some of the greatest conversations being had right now, but on YouTube. But I just want to say, like, I want to say that what you're talking about is for rare cases, right?
Right.
It's rare, so we can't just sign people off as NPCs, and it's laziness. It's in some cases it's unacceptable. But however, that is true, and I know that for a fact because I've dealt with it personally, and there's many ways for it to happen, but drugs is one way for a person to lose their mind. And when you lose your mind, you lose your mind frame or your mindset, and you have nothing, right? So that is, it's without a doubt 100% a fact that there are people on here that would qualify as someone under this notion, under this philosophy, under this concept. They will qualify as a quote-unquote NPC, right? But, and who's to say that they can't come back from it, right? Right?
Yeah, that's true too. That's true. I'm not a believer. No, I'm with you. I'm not a firm believer in like cardinal sin and that type of thing. And I think that everyone has an opportunity to return. But I do believe too that at some point the genuine soul of a person can depart from the human life, and they just wander into darkness, man. Like, and I'll give you an example of this. I have a beloved sister who I was really close to for a long, long time, and then she got on Ambien, and her her patterns changed so diametrically, like, and she was able to abandon family members or mistreat family or even abuse of the elderly and stuff like this, even though she's in a position of power and prominence and has a lot of money and is well rooted in her community. She basically turned into like a creature of technology and ambient zombie type things and stuff like that. And I don't want to be too specific, but I do think that a huge part of the transhuman agenda is the transformation, the transformation of human beings through pharmaceuticals at a very diabolical level that we don't even know at this point, like what it's going to lead to, like what will be the outcome of those things. The next domain here, and since we're on it, right? Meals.
Yeah, I mean, meals are important, and then, but a lot of people overeat and stuff, and they need to experiment with that and learn their body. Like for me, I always struggled with eating, and then when I got to like 20, I went up to 200 pounds, from 140 to 200 pounds. And when you do that, there's all types of changes that are happening. Obviously, I was overweight once I got like to 210, 220. Again, I'm lifting.
You're a pretty big dude though, right? Like you're 6+. Is that correct?
Nah, dude, I'm like 5'9", 5'10", maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 200 would be heavy for you then.
So I'm heavy, but like I'm not fat. Like I'm not explaining it. Like like my belly isn't hanging. Like
what are you weighing in at these days?
Seriously heavy, not seriously heavyweight, but it got to a point where people were like accusing me of taking steroids and all types of nonsense, shit like that.
Yeah, you're husky. You're a husky boy.
But then, since then, you just again, I had goals, right? I wanted to gain strength in an extreme way. I definitely didn't look 200 pounds. Like when I remember, I was like in the locker room at my college, and they were like, "How much you weigh?" I was like, "I just got off the scale like 210." They're like, "You're 210?" Like I did not look 210 pounds. But
yeah, you carry it well.
Yeah, I just a lot of water weight really, and just again with the goals. Like I want to tie it into what we're talking about. I had goals of 1, gaining weight, and 2, just the freedom to eat what I want, how I want, when I want. Because I played a lot of soccer, and like when you do a lot of running and shit, like you can't eat whatever you want when you want. It's just not how it works. Because you need to fuel your body a certain way.
Right.
Doing certain activities, and then plus when you run, your just metabolism is just on fire. But anyway.
Yeah. So the fifth domain here of mastery is meals. It says you can't out hustle a bad diet and skipping meals. Let's see what it says here. Skipping breakfast, crushing energy drinks, and then wondering why you crash at 2 p.m. We've all been there. Food is important. Food is information for your body. Protein equals stable energy. Sugars equal spike and crash. Water, literally everything functions better. You don't need a perfect diet. You need a sustainable one. Yeah, I think that's important, that last comment there, that like, don't chase after the latest food craze. Just try to create a consistent, plain diet that supports your energy and well-being.
And at the end of the day, when those people are doing that bullshit with the food, it's all for money. They don't give a fuck about you or what you do. You need to go out there and find what works for you, like, and through experimentation, that's the only way you'll believe in what you got to believe in what you're doing for it to work. If you're just doing it and you don't think it's going to work, what you're doing is it's not right.
Right. And this is a good comment here by DJ Emo. He said you got to know your body type. Like, are you an ectomorph, mesomorph, or endomorph?
Yeah,
And I've
I
definitely
don't
seen
know.
this play
I'm
out.
not sure what I am, but nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I like to run. I like to train. Like in the summertime, I sustained a really, really bad ankle injury,
Okay.
and it led me to it. I was out of work for 2 weeks. It was bad, and I was on crutches, and I wasn't able to run. And I was running not every day, but consistently, every few times a week, and that was a part of my like therapy. Like, it keeps you sane. But not everyone's like that, man. If you're not into fitness or like have some sort of hobby like that, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I think it's definitely important to have a hobby where you've got good, consistent exercise. But yeah, like you said, if you sustain an injury and then you can't run anymore, like how do you replace that? Um, I think that's why qigong and like some systems of yoga and stuff like that are pretty good too. Because even if you can't get out and run, you can still generate some of that same in some of those same endorphins and dopamine through like deep breathing, and you can move around the body in other ways. But after you've sustained an injury, you just have to kind of deal with that injury first and not push yourself. Let yourself rest, chill, let the body do what it needs to do to mend before you get back into your habits.
Yeah, dude. People don't understand. If you and that wasn't even that serious of an injury, but it still affects me to this day. Like I'm limited to how I used to do things. I can't really do them yet, 100%. Um,
Right.
like squatting and deadlifting, like I'm not able to do that. Like I was able to, like full heavy weight, and maybe it's like not needed. Like kind of shift, goals and things like that. And you know, it is what it is. People don't talk about that, but when you go through injuries, it's mentally, it's challenging. You know, I don't know if you ever dealt with that before.
Yeah. I've been through a few injuries, and
Like, do you think you could get an injury right now? Like injury, like not anything like too medically serious. I'm saying like injury, maybe like you break your leg. Like that would affect you, right? And your work, even your work and stuff.
oh, absolutely. In fact, I've seen over the last couple of years, I've seen like three different colleagues get a broken leg and then have to continue to work. Like, they got it in a cast and they'll roll around on like a knee, like a knee scooter or whatever, and then they can't go up and down stairs anymore for a while. Stuff like that. So yeah, it can be overcome. But yeah, I don't. I try to avoid sustaining any injuries at this point in my life if I can avoid it. Um, Definitely something that needs to be dealt with and worked through without injury, though. Like, keep your patterns as consistent as possible and just keep moving forward. He gives a little bit of a definition here, DJ Emo, for ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph. He thinks that you're probably more of an endomorph, or a mesomorph is more like a rugby farmer build. Of these three, what do you think? Which one applies to you?
Wait, let me give him this. Let me tell him what people say. Like, I swear to God, like there was 1 week, like there was 7 days in my life where like three people asked me if I was like a wrestler, like like a high school wrestler or like college wrestler, and I was like, nah,
Okay.
bro. Like, what the? I was like, why the fuck are? I was like, why are people thinking that I'm a wrestler? They're like, you just have that type of body. So that's a, yeah, like kind of like stocky, but like lean, but muscular-ish. I have a little bit of fat. I mean, recently I've been losing a lot of weight purposely. And yeah, it's good. I'm trying to cut down from where I was because I have enough strength and mass. Like that was the like I have stretch marks all over my like the inside, like almost near my armpit, where the top, like that, my muscle, like my like the bone of my shoulder and my arm connects, like there's and my bicep. I have like really bad stretch marks and stuff, because I just gained so much mass. You know, like that size, like the surface area, the size of everything, it just went up.
Yeah, I'm an extreme ectomorph for the most part. Like my entire life, I found it extremely challenging to put on any kind of weight. And once I got older, like past 40s, I started to put on a little more weight, but I realized it was because I had extreme hypertension when I was younger. And so like I'm always in motion and like I found a hard time to sit still. And so like sitting still and doing meditation and like even like ground exercises and stuff like that was it was really, really tough for me. High metabolism, extreme ectomorph. Now that I've gotten a little older, I find it easier. And I realized my brother had huge gains and grew really tall and big and powerful and muscular. And one of the things he told me was he's like, just slow down, chew your food more slowly. Imagine getting bigger when you intake food, breathe deep, and he was a slow moving, slow plodding dude like an elephant. And he was able to grow huge and powerful. So he was more of like a Indo-mesomorph, like a mix between an Indo. Meso is the most balanced, and then Endomorph tends to be more like more pudgy, more weight, and then Ectos tends to be more skinny. But yeah, you need a balance. So like striving towards being mesomorphic, I think is the ideal. Yeah, I was an 80s kid, DJ Emo. Not an 80s. I was born in the early 70s, but I was like a teenager in the 80s. So, yeah. Mentors. The next domain we're getting into is mentorship. So, would you read it for us? Free gift?
Mentors, show me your circle, we'll show you your future. The fastest way to level up, learn from people 5 steps ahead of you. This doesn't mean expensive coaches. Books from people who've done it, podcasts during your commute. One conversation with someone who's been there. You're the average of 5 people you spend time with. Choose them intentionally. I want to say that last 6 months, I haven't been spending time with anyone really.
Better to be alone than to be in bad company. I can agree with that.
Yeah, but it's not even about. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of what it's about. But I don't know, man. It's good to be around people. If people are treating you bad and you don't like it, just give them some time and some space. Then maybe reconnect down the line a little bit, and then things might change, right? That energy, that's
Absolutely.
just pure energy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right about that. And if you haven't been around people for a while, you get a much more deeper reflection on you, like your true self, like who you really are.
I'm trying not to cough. Hold up.
Yeah, no worries. My dad told me
Go ahead.
when I was a kid, he said, show me your friends and I can tell you who you are and or who you will become. So I do think that it's important to be careful with your associates, because like when I ran with criminals, I was a criminal, and when I run with the Kung Fu boys, like in my mid-teens to mid-20s, then I was a Kung Fu guy. And then when I started to run with the scholars, then I became a lot more scholastic. So I do think you should like aspire to be among tribes of people that share your values and things you want to cultivate in your life. So I do think it's a good idea to choose like mentorships and books even, read books, engage in podcasts. Like I listen to the podcasts, a lot of the Stoic podcasts and stuff like that during my off time. And so, yeah, it influences your psyche.
I'm going to say a couple things here. I forget what you said. Oh, yeah. and you spend a lot of time alone, because maybe that's how this uh, transpire trans manifest, right? Maybe that's how this manifests for some people, and maybe you're alone, and when you're alone, you said something about like your true self starts to come out. It's like when you try to capture an animal, it takes some time where you got it there, like you got to be still and quiet, and it might be in the middle of the night, and you might have been waiting for 3 months, but then your true self starts to slip out a little bit, and you kind of start dealing more with yourself, but it takes some time, if that makes sense. And um not everyone is willing to put their hand out and help you, right? Not like majority of people aren't, and they may say that they are, or they feel like they are, or they say that they do or feel like they do, but in reality it's just not. Not people, in general. I don't think people are out there to help you, which we've said a couple times. People selling products or things like that, and that's how a lot of the time that stuff manifests. And it's like, but I think the best way is to go out there and actually talk to people, and maybe they don't even, you just talk to older people that's older than you, or just connect with someone your age, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can get value from a lot of different people, and you might not even realize it, looking at them from face value or even in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good mindset too. Like, and be like you were talking about how you got your latest job and career that you're engaged in, is showing that enthusiasm and sincerity up front. You do have to be wary though. Like when I came into the panel verse, I realized how much cynicism, skepticism, and treachery that are involved on these panels, right? And like people are really wary of you when you first appear, and they're like, "What's your game? What are you up to?" And it's like their dick's been knocked in the dirt so many times that they're super mistrustful of other people. And that's a problem. That's a problem for humanity. It's like we have to be able to trust each other, and we have to find relationships with trustworthy people and engage in mutual benefit. Otherwise, we're going to lose our humanity entirely, which isn't any kind of fun.
Sorry, I'm reading. But yeah,
Yeah, no worries.
yeah, it's the world. It's just fucked up, dude. I don't. It's you can't tell anymore what people are on or what they're doing, and yeah, and that's everywhere you go. It's not even just on the internet, really, believe it or not.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, DJ Emo's got a good. I had a really cool book club that I would do here in Beijing, like in the physical IRL style. It was the Mercurial Wednesdays, and we would meet up twice a month to set a book and then discuss a book. And so every couple of weeks we were going through a book. I've never really done it online here, but I am currently working through the book by Martin Buber. It's called I and Thou. And so, DJ Emo, if you're interested in that kind of thing, yeah, get into it. Get yourself a copy of I and Thou and start working through it. I'm on part 2 of it right now. I think I'm at around a page, like, I don't know, page 100, something like that. Well, yeah, tune in and check out the I and Thou sessions. I'm up to like session 11 or session 12 with that. But yeah, it's a good thing. The Frank Monday Book Club, it's a thing. Get involved. And Free Gift from God, you have given some really good fucking dynamite book suggestions in the past. And like that one video, I still love it. I've watched it, I don't know, probably a dozen times with that comic book artist that used chaos magic to like transform his life. What was his name again?
Alan Watts or Alan Moore.
No, not Alan Moore. Yeah. That's a really powerful story.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's really good. He's interesting. I mean, where are these people? Like, I don't know. kind of seems
They're right here, man. It's you and me, man. I and thou.
exactly.
We're the ones getting it done.
I was gonna say we're even just everything. It's taking a turn. It's not the way it was 15 years ago, like in 2010. What was that? You right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, I stepped away a second. That was my chair squeaking on the floor. No big deal.
Oh my!
Did I spell his name correctly? Is this it? Alan Moore?
Moore. Yep.
Just one O.
No, you got it. That's good. 2 O's.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
Yeah, he's
getting.
interesting.
I muted you for a second. I was getting roboting on my end. It might be me though, because I'm behind the bamboo firewall. So yeah, I do think. Are you tuning in from your phone or your laptop?
I'm on my phone. Am I okay now, or did it?
Yeah, you're good. And a lot of times it's just my end of things starts roboting because of where I am, you know.
Okay, yeah, it does sound good on my end. So if anything,
Yeah, you're golden.
but I'm more. There's no more things. No one creates things like this anymore.
Yeah, it's getting rarer. It really is. Yeah, you're right about that.
And you've been alive for so long. I don't know if you can relate to this, but in my life, kind of touching on the NPC thing again, but not really. But just keeping that in mind when I say this, just meeting so many people and them leaving your life, like people coming in and out of your life that you were once so close to, you keep going down the line and you're like, who am I and who are these people and, what happened? And not to say that it was good or bad or anything, but, was this person, it's funny to think like, was that person in or what, I don't know how you feel about that, but, and then you start to even question yourself and how these people view you. It's like a never ending thing.
Well, and it's a good question too, because it plays into like a person's individual spiritual path and whether or not they have faith in spirit. And I do. And I think that if faith in spirit means anything, then the people who have gone beyond the veil are really still there and they have a life and they live among us. Like, Rudolf Steiner points out that the dead are among us and they live among us. And there really is some truth to that like, if you do have a spiritual immortality and you're coming from a place where you had that immortality and now you're growing a human body, as it were, you're engaged in the process of living through a human life, then you do to some extent need to kind of embrace that and have faith in it and be like, yeah, I'm living through this experience and there's going to be all these transformations, but I'm projecting in from a place of, in different traditions, they call it different things. In the tradition of Tao, we call it the Timeless Homeland. And, Christ called it the heavenly kingdom. And the Buddhists call it, nirvana. Their understanding of it's a little bit skewed in my opinion. But I think that we do have this immortal, eternal life from the realm of preforms. And we're just, we're getting busy, like in here, in the seventh domain that we're contemplating, the mission, it says that without purpose, you're just busy. And a lot of people are just doing that, right? They're just getting busy. And so like it touches on that idea. Do you have like an overarching life purpose? It's like, why are you here? Free gift from God. Like, what have you come into this realm to do? And if you're just scientific, materialistic, an atheist, then it's like, well, still, what's the point? What's the upshot? It's like, what are you up to? And if you have that foundation, like in life, then it won't really matter. Like the the transformations of who's around you and stuff isn't really going to be that big of a deal. But go ahead. What would you? How would you
Say
address that?
last part again. It's just funny because. Go ahead.
Yeah, just like what is your fundamental purpose? It's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, but exactly, and it's hard sometimes, and I just mention that because I think back, my experiences are a lot different than other people's, but I've been around and I've really met so many different people, and some of them just like they come in and out. I don't know if you relate to that either, but like yeah, it's and then you're right. It just makes you question of like, well, what was my purpose? What did I why the time we spend on what we're doing, and then not everyone's life plays out happily, right? Like some people live tragedies, right? Which is an interesting concept. I'm not sure like when or why that was introduced, but a lot of the times we watch movies or read books and it's supposed to end and it's supposed to make sense, right? And I don't, maybe in this life, it's not really like that, where you live in it at the end of it and it makes sense as to why everything happened, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's tough. Like when you go over the falls and you pearl dive and you got to get back up and then you get tossed around in the washing machine. I'm using some surfer lingo here because DJ Emo mentioned a surfing analogy. Yeah, a lot of people don't make it through it gets played out in the wash. But yeah, I think those vicissitudes, those transformations, like people coming in and out of your direct sphere of control, they're within that second layer, right? That sphere of influence. And they definitely change. They change shapes, they change faces. And you've got to wonder if it's just that same energetic spark and whether it's just wearing different faces. Like right now, I'm sitting out in my living room and I've got 3 doors in front of me. Oh, I've got 4. I've got the door to the outside, but I've got a door to my daughter's room, a door to my son's room, and then a door to my room, and my wife's in there. And it's like, if any one of those given people open the door right now, I'll be dealing with that energy and it'll be wearing a different mask. It'll be wearing the wife mask or the son's mask or the daughter's mask, but they'll all have like NPCs somehow. I'm not saying my family are NPCs, but they'll all have the same requests on the server. I'm the essential server of my family. I'm the father of the kingdom, right? And they'll all be looking for the same type of things for me to get busy doing things that fulfill their needs, right? Like making breakfast, answering questions, doing whatever it is, providing funding. All of those things seem to hit the server request of dad like every day. And I'm not saying they don't do their parts, but I need to be more commanding as the leader of the family to redirect them. You hungry? Make a bowl of cereal. You need money? Go get a fucking job. No, I'm just being playful, but yeah. So there are certain aspects, and this is just one point.
My dad was really like that all the time.
Yeah.
Literally, just like that. So. No, I agree. That's hilarious. And I never looked at it through that perspective either of what you're talking about, being on the other
right,
end.
And you can't until you become dad. But when you're a kid, it's the same type of thing. Like if you're sitting in your room and you got your own shit going on, you've built your own little kingdom, then anytime that door opens, you're going to be dealing with a different mask, but it's going to be the same thing, a request on your energy in some way. And with your friend circle too, and your job as well, right? They're all changing different masks, but it's that same essential spark of energy that's stimulating you, that you're drawing toward yourself to interact with this plane of existence.
Yeah, man, it just gets confusing, and there's so many people in my life that I wish I could reach out to. But I just can't, or it's just not the same, or whatever the reason may be, or it may be
Well, you
inappropriate. Right.
don't necessarily feel that way too. Like, you know magic, and you know that if you sit within the astral temple and reach out to them, a telepathic message is sent to them, and they'll suddenly think of you and think, oh my God, I wonder what free gift from God's up to. And they may not even know that you touched them psychically. But yeah, that at the quantum level, that happens instantaneously. And so don't necessarily think that if I sit and long for this person for a few minutes, that it's necessarily a bad thing. It is a connection with them in some way. And they may not respond or react the way you want them to, but you're still doing your great work by doing that.
Exactly.
I've had to come to the realization with that over the last 5 years, and losing so many people that were dearly close to me. My mom, my dad, my brother, two of my best friends, all this.
Exactly.
It's like
and like, how do you look at yourself after? It's hard. It's not easy. Right.
Yeah, it's not, but you just keep pushing forward and continue the life of life, riding the wave. Take your time to mourn, though, even if it's just like you lose a girlfriend or a best friend or whatever. You have to adapt to that and take a moment to mourn them, whatever amount of time it takes, and then keep plodding on. Like the British have a great expression, make the shore, like DJ Emo is saying here. Go back to that crystal shore. If you're out in the turbulent, rough and tumble of the world, take a moment to retreat.
Yeah,
Go
I
back
like
to
that
center.
guy. Yo, dude, there's like people in here and watching and stuff.
Yeah,
and
DJ
that's
Emo's
cool.
dropping some facts.
Yeah, I like his comments. They're funny. They're cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff for sure. Okay, so how about this last domain, mission? It says, without your purpose, you're just busy. Here's the difference. Busy equals checking boxes. Mission equals building towards something. Ask yourself, if you keep doing what you're doing, where will you be in 5 years? If that answer excites you, keep going. If it worries you or scares you, then it's time to adapt, to adjust. So what do you think about that? I want to bring it back to that. Like, do you feel like you've come up with a definitive life purpose that in 5 to 10 years is going to be an exciting transformation for you?
Trying. I mean, it's so difficult, just building and, like you said, I live in New Jersey. It's so expensive where I'm at. It's like it's one of the two most expensive places in the country, maybe the world. But
Yeah, that's right. I know that it is, and that's
yeah.
mostly due to real estate, right?
You know that because you live in California, which is synonymous. It's not more expensive, right? So.
Right, absolutely. High taxes, high cost of living, high real estate prices.
It's astounding. I mean, it's phenomenal.
It killed my father, literally. My dad was a multi-million generating dude, businessman with like 5 different businesses going at the same time, and the taxes literally killed him. He had a stroke and it killed him.
I mean, yeah, I was in the store talking to the guy, and today is New Year's Day, and I'm like, damn, it sucks that, and I kind of, whatever, like, it could have been closed, it could have been open, doesn't matter for me, but I was like, damn, it sucks that you work on New Year's Day, and he's like, yeah, they just don't want you to spend time with your friend. We're talking about like the government and stuff, like whatever. Just society. Never. I was like, yeah, like what's the point of living if you just have to work all the time, right? What the fuck?
Right.
What the fuck? It doesn't even make sense. And then in other countries, like in Italy, there's like this viral video going around of like this CEO and a couple other high up person in this company. They're from Italy, European. They're like, yeah, just give them, And in America, looking at it from our perspective, it's like, oh my God, they get all that time off. They don't care. They're saying they deserve it. That's insane, right? Right? And it's like, no, that makes sense, right? Makes sense. And it's a shame. I don't know what to do about it. It seems like it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, don't be too quick to predict the future. You know, things like I said earlier, things are cyclical. They go up and they go down, and everyone's various perspective within the world will change from time to time. DJ Emo's got some good comments here. He says, be busy stimulating your heart with a hobby that you enjoy and get good at it. Focus the heart and mind and desire. Find your groove and dance with the world. You know, yeah, because the world does get into chaos. And once you learn to dance with it, you'll enjoy the chaos a little more. And if you need to work when you're young, like he's saying here, work some fucking hours. Go hard. Go hard at work. Go hard at a hobby as well. Get it done, and the world is yours. Go get it, young man. I think that's good advice. I mean, I did it when I was, in my 20s, 30s, even 40s. I was ghosting and grinding and doing all my hobbies at the same time. I was putting in anywhere from 50 to 80 hours a week trying to build a foundation that, that would sustain my life. I'd say don't go that hard. Back off if you can. And the more gimmicks and tricks you can find to work a little less and enjoy a little more is definitely worthwhile. But yeah, don't be scared of doing hard work either, right?
Yeah, the world is so fascinating. Like everybody's like on their own journey and their own path, and it's like everyone thinks they have it all figured out in their own minds, right? And
right,
it's just funny, and I don't know. Maybe one of my goals, not for this year, but maybe next year, it could be like doing stand-up comedy, because I would like to go up on stage and just say like whatever the fuck I want. And
yeah, you've talked about that. You got a stand-up scene in your town, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I live yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I just
near enough that you can hit some venues, right?
I mean, yeah, like is there a scene in New York City? I'll just take the train and it's pretty much it's easy, but or Philadelphia, do that. Anywhere in between that, but yeah,
get it. Write some material, get up there, experiment a little bit. It's definitely worth it. I did what did I do? I did like 5 years of stand up, something like that. It's well worth it.
Really good. Like, what does it take to make it? It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, right? Like.
Well, yeah, like whatever your bullshit is, it doesn't really matter. Just like write that down and memorize it, and then go up and do your. I don't know how long are sets? Do they 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that?
Yeah.
And then practice it a few times. Get enough material for a 5-minute set. Practice it a few times, then just go up and do it. You'll make it and break it. Sometimes it'll hit like fire, and sometimes it'll drop like a fucking turd. And you learn to deal with both. Learn to work the crowd. Learn to be chill, laugh at yourself, laugh at the crowd, and keep a book. My one suggestion would be keep a book.
Well, it's funny because the thing that really I always like stand-up comedy, since I was really young. Remember who's the guy with the puppet? I just remember do you know what I'm talking about? The guy with the puppet on Comedy Central. I think his name's Jeff. I don't know. I just liked him, and even people like Aziz and Azari. I remember I would listen to his shit on Pandora. This is in 2010 type shit. But
yeah, I kind of vaguely remember the dude with the puppet, but not really. Yeah, go ahead though. I grew up on Monty Python, Rodney Dangerfield, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, these kinds of guys. But let me show you what I mean by a book. Do you know what I mean by a book? Like keep a book?
Like a notebook. Or
let me show you. Yeah, pocketbook. I'll cam up real quick and let you see what I mean.
Yeah,
so here's an example. I don't know, can you see your screen or not?
Yeah,
this is an example of this is an old school Frank Monday book right here. So this is just like a small book that you can write down your comedy in and keep in your pocket. And then like, let me show you kind of basic. Yeah. So like this is the type of notation I would use, because it's all about just memory. Like comedy is hugely a memory game, like being able to memorize all of your jokes and your stories and stuff, and then hit your points and make notations for that. Here's another one of my books. I would say 2 practices really play into being a good comedian. One is keeping a book and becoming a good storyteller, and another is writing, not in a notebook. Don't write in your books. Don't start your comedy. Keep your book with you all the time, 24/7. Keep it in your pocket and work on your material. But when you sit down and do most of your writing, do it from loose leaf paper, from paper that's not bound into a notebook. That way, when you feel like an idea is absolute shit, you can just put it away. Don't throw your shit away, and don't burn your shit. Keep it all. Like,
Yo,
but
I burn
write.
it.
Yeah, don't keep it all, man. Let it become a record. No, you got to start keeping your books, man, because you're building a memory game, a memory palace within the astral temple. And even your mistakes you want to keep so that you can figure out how it went wrong, you know, and how to make it right. And you might look back on it 10 years from now and be like, damn, that was good material. And then you can turn it into a fucking movie script and make 10 million from Hollywood or whatever. But that would be my 2 suggestions right there. Write from loose leaf paper and keep a book.
And DJ Emo said he said Billy or Bobby Cannoli, which I don't know who that is, but that sounds so funny. And he said Bill Hicks, which maybe this guy's a Tool fan, because that's how I learned about Bill Hicks pretty much, because they put his little bit of his stuff in their song with his permission, of course, and his co-signing as well. And I even cited one of his lines for an essay I did in college. But the main person who inspired me to want to do it is Andrew Dice Clay. When he did
Okay.
The Day
I like
the
him.
Laughter Died, like when I listened to that, I was like kind of like super like like it was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like this is still like, this is probably like the greatest comedy of all time. Like this is the greatest of all time to me. And like, you know, the fact that what's his name was the producer, real big
clever
producer.
quips like Andrew Dice Clay. He would do limericks. He did a couple of songs too, right?
Yeah.
There once was a girl from there once was a guy from Nantucket. His dick was so long he could suck it. He said with a grin while he wiped off his chin, "If my ear were a cunt, I would fuck it."
It's crazy.
And that wasn't his joke. That joke predated him. Like that was a regular joke in the community. So you can borrow and steal shit too, as long as you're not super
but
obvious
it's just the
about
way
it.
he did it. It was just that format at that point. It was just, that's what people wanted. But it's like that was kind of like the Beatles effect, where they kind of started out as like this gimmick, and then years down the line it was like, oh my god, like what the fuck, like this is so like innovative and different from what you first did.
Once you have to put in the hard knocks so that once you build mastery, then you can transform it into anything that's appropriate, right? And roll with the times and adapt to the changes and shit. Because your comedy, like as a younger person, would be entirely different than ours was 30, 40, 50 years ago, right?
But Andrew Dice Clay, it's timeless, and the way, you know, he didn't write it. It was just all off the top of his head, and it's not like the most technically best. It's not the most technically best stuff. But it's just funny. It's just hilarious, and it's obscene. It's obscene, and it's polarizing. That's what I like about it, and that's what I kind of want to be like.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I just realized I had dropped you from the screen here. Yeah, so yeah, as that is part of your mission, definitely, man. And again, not just busy checking boxes, but building toward that
expression of doing stand-up comedy for a few years, right? Like you might want to become a stand-up comedian and you might be hugely successful in it, and that might be your angle to like fame and fortune and shit. But have it be more than that, right? Like realize that you're just doing the stand-up comedy as a form of self-cultivation, and if you know all the other things that happen with it, those are just the flowers and leaves on the tree of life. It's the root that you're reinforcing by engaging in that activity.
Yeah, and he's saying good stuff here. Like the only problem I see with comedy today is there's very little actual comedians. Yeah, I mean, I don't like anybody. I just like this guy named Tim Dillon. He's okay, but everyone's just really scared to say anything.
And you're aware of a lot of those comedians in the scene and stuff too, right? I would suggest like do your homework. Like don't worry about any of those guys in the mainstream anymore. Forget the fuck about them for a while. And go to the comedy clubs and see what they're doing in there. But don't let that dissuade you either, because you need to craft and create the free gift from God persona, whatever name you choose, whatever title you choose. Like if you use your real name or you use a stage name, that needs to be a unique creation of your own that you like reach inside and find the humor and fuck everyone else, ghost and grind on that idea for a while without paying attention to other comedians, because they'll have a somehow negative effect on you. And you got to like build your own repertoire.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I get what you're saying too, like, because then you'll just be trapped within that, you know, whatever they have going on and whatever.
Right, that echo chamber of copying, right? And you don't want to be a copy. You want to be an OG. And so again, I would get back to like, what do you find funny? What kind of situations do you find funny? Like a day in the life, a free gift from God. You know, like I walked out the house this morning, my neighbor said blah, 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 and then find the funny angle on it and write that story down and use that as like an opening anecdote, and then shift to something else, you know, have some fucking gimmicks in your repertoire, you know. And then I suddenly remembered that joke by Andrew Dice Clay, you know, give shout outs to people that you find appealing, and be like, you know, you remember when these guys used to be able to get up here and smoke cigarettes and swing their dick around and everybody laughed about that. You know, it's like we've come so far from that. And be a little bit edgy, you know, but don't be offensive. Like don't attack any community or anything like that. Like that's no longer suitable, right? Like grow with the times, you know. And you know that. You're a young man. You know what's up.
I know you're talking about, yeah. Andrew Dice Clay, he was just so funny. He was just, because he was offensive, like, for that time. Like, all that stuff was, like, super bad. And
right. And people at the time enjoyed it. And people still enjoy it. You notice that some of the people that are a little bit edgy and are like the black dude who recently just passed from the scenes, that was on TV a lot. He was kind of edgy. Talked about nigga this, nigga that. What was that guy's name? Black dude. Chappelle.
No, he didn't die. Oh, wait a minute.
No, I mean he's not really in the public spotlight anymore.
Oh yeah, no. It's all dead. It's not even that, like Comedy Central, like that used to be a thing. It's not a thing. Like the platforms for these comedians, it's on the internet now.
Right.
Like you were like Funny or Die was kind of like, it was like a.
You remember that, huh? Did you ever actually visit that website?
No, but I've heard of it. Is it a thing still? I don't think it is.
No, it's dead. It's Will Ferrell started it. I think it's still a website, but yeah, once they like kicked out all of the people who were like user contributed, nobody fucking had any interest in it. It's got like zero appeal anymore.
Yeah,
like if YouTube did the same thing, like if YouTube just became a Netflix streaming channel and only allowed people that they wanted on it without like having a broader base of user created content, everybody would abandon it. People are here for the interaction. Like I come to YouTube because I can get call-ins from people like you, and I can call in on other people's show. If not, why don't I just watch fucking television all day? You know, what the fuck would I even come here for? So if they do that with YouTube, it'll absolutely die, and which doesn't matter to them anyways because it's funded by government money, right? It's what Snafu Snaps calls Pogo, privately owned, government operated.
Yeah,
And welcome to my my Mexican brother from another mother, NPC the game. I don't know if you know NPC or not. His name's Gabriel Carbo Gaines, and he's kind of a big deal here on YouTube. He's got a nice platform, and he does a lot of good stuff, a lot of good content. And he's like since I'm a little bit, we're talking about some racial things and Andrew Dice Clay and that type of thing, and he's like a half Mexican, half Asian, half black dude that lives in Taiwan. And so he's got much the same life as me. He's like a dad with a family and, you know, raising kids and working in academia. So kind of a crazy thing. Welcome, Gabe. Shout out to you, brother. Much love.
That's fire. That's good. Welcome to the show.
He's going hard, and I think he's much younger than me too, like maybe mid 30s. So he's getting it going early, and that's cool because that's where I was, you know, 20 years ago, like same type of thing.
Just reading the comments here.
And I don't know if he really speaks a lot of Chinese or not, like Mandarin. And if he did, I think he could come up and we could rap in the Chinese language a little bit. That would be funny.
I thought they're enemies.
Yeah, what was that? I didn't hear you, man. He says Rick Mayall was a great UK comedian. Yeah, there were a lot of great comedians out of the UK. That guy that did The Office, was that Ricky Gervais?
I'm not familiar, honestly. I was gonna say though, like David Spade recently did an interview, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, those type of funny movies like Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore, everything else in between, you get the idea. Old School, which isn't an Adam Sandler movie, but it's like there's a market for them, but they're not funded. Like they're not producing those type of movies anymore. Like that type of thing is, and that's why I was trying to say like Funny or Die was like a foreshadow of what things could have been, and it was a foreshadow of what's happening now. It's just like that instead of Funny or Die, it's just like the community scene is just a small niche thing on the internet, and everyone does a podcast, and then they do shows because they have a big podcast, so they sell a lot of tickets. It's like the art of comedy isn't there anymore. Like even Kevin Hart, well, does he even do stand up? Like these people, and then like the tickets for the fucking shows. Oh my god! One time my friend sent me our group chat a fucking. I was like, "Are you out of your fucking mind? $200 for nosebleed seats to see this fat retard, Shane Gillis? Like what the fuck?"
Yeah, that's gnarly. You're probably more in the know than I am. So why does DJ Emo say that Joe Rogan killed comedy?
Because of everything I just said. Because of and it wasn't directly him. He was just so fucking. I know you don't like Joe Rogan, but what he did with the podcast, he was so ahead of his time, like in everything. And now he's old and just making money and doing his thing. But he's just like. He was so ahead of his timing. And what really made his podcast so good was the guests that he had. Like his guests were so interesting and good, and he was just a regular
Okay,
dude.
and don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily dislike him. I just don't really know that much about him. So yeah, tell me. Like he had good guests on and stuff, and he's just like a
Oh
regular
my god!
dude.
And they would just talk like normal people, like me and you. And and at the time, this was I'm saying 2010, 2009, 2012. He's experimenting with podcasts, interviews, having people on like the front man at Tool, Maynard James Keenan, and other huge celebrities, just sitting down having a conversation. And he's a cool guy, or
Yeah,
seemingly is, right? And so
and
they
that's when
talk to
comedy
him.
that's when comedy was hitting hard here in Beijing too, for like the expat scene. Like that's when it was at its height.
Exactly. And so what happened was, and that was evident in these podcasts, because what he was doing was he would have regular podcasts, but then he would have these things called the Ice House, where he'd have a bunch of comedians on this podcast, and it was in the middle of them waiting for them to do a set. Does that make sense? So the line of comedians are doing a podcast, and each one of them leaves the room to do a set and comes back. So it's things like that where it wasn't that Joe Rogan killed comedy. It's that people took his formula and they commercialized it, and that's what happens. Even when you have such a great fucking idea, as you know, for whatever, you can still ruin it. So I think that's what he's talking about, because now everyone has a podcast, and now everyone, like every comedian that is big, only is big because they have a podcast. That's how they sell the shows, because they see the podcast, they want to see him in real life, and that's the end of it. There's no one out there that's like, oh my god, this guy's so fucking funny, you have to come see this guy. Like, it's not like Andrew Dice Clay selling out Madison Square Garden and then doing the limericks, right? It's not like that.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so the like that kind of plays in with what TML says too, that the technology is changing the way people interact, and like what does this mean for the future and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of a whole thing. We got to roll with the punches though. We got to adapt and learn how these new platforms are working and how they're playing out, and then do it a different way. DJ Emo says that he's up in 6 hours. Got to take his daughter to the city for some shopping. 3 a.m. here. Yeah, get some sleep, DJ Emo. I put the link out there in case anybody wanted to join us. You know, it's pinned. Jump up if you're down. NPC the game was here for a moment. I know he likes to panel a little bit, but I'm not sure what's going on out in Happy Land. Yeah, what are your plans for the rest of it's evening there, I believe, for you. So what are you getting into tonight for
Well,
you
it's
get from
funny
done?
you said that. My friend just texted me. That's who he just got out of work, so I'm gonna text him. But maybe just go to the bar and have a drink and try to, I don't know, do something. I mean, technology affects the dating scene, right? Like, technology affects so many things, and I kind of want to talk about what this guy's saying in the comments real quick. He's
Yeah,
talking about
and
Eddie
don't
Bravo.
forget don't forget to take your book and make some notes, man. Work on your bits, work on your sets. Remember, a bit is where you start, and then you put bits into a set, and then start making themes and shit. Like, get busy getting busy, man.
And another reason why is because, like, I have this group chat with a few of my friends, and I'm like, dude, like, these are just like everything we're saying is a bit, like, and it's funny. Like, I'm not
But yeah,
saying
you
this
got to
like,
write it. You got to write them down, and you got to have a tangible book. It's not going to work by taking notes on your phone. Not at
yeah,
first, at least. You need that physical reminder of what you're up to, and you got to take notes.
but yeah, we just say the funniest things, and I was like, this needs to be shared, like this, and fuck a podcast, like there, or we could do a podcast, like I don't know, but it just needs like something needs to change within that space, and it's obvious that we're it's approaching that time. It's not necessary, but it's approaching. And then Eddie Bravo. this guy's talking about that. I want to say that, you know, Eddie Bravo's cool. He's doing his own thing. I don't think, you know, Rogan at a point got so big and influential that he directly affected a presidential election. He is like, it's over. But he's on another stratosphere. Like you can't
Rogan,
even relate to him.
which election did Rogan influence? Trump, 2016 or
The most
2020?
recent one. And because not only did he, but a lot of the other people that were used to show support for Trump were Joe Rogan disciples, for lack of a better word, right? They were from his gang. They were only popular because of him. They only have influence because of him. And that was definitely used in the presidential campaign for 2024. And, you know, he even had Trump on his podcast.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that. There was a bigger, broader base, though. Like, I'd say Alex Jones had more of an impact on Trump's 2016 campaign, and Rogan a bigger impact on his 2024 campaign.
Oh yeah, but Rogan wasn't even that big. But see, that's what I'm saying. Rogan climbed, like he was in 2016. At that point, he was never gonna affect an election or have a say or anything. But as time went on, the landscape changed, things changed, and he was ahead of the curve. So he was grandfathered.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, didn't he? When was it when he sold his podcast to, what was it, Sirius Radio for like 50 million or something? Who bought him? Spotify?
Yeah, Spotify for $100 million deal.
What a thing, right? I mean, that's a big deal.
I mean, he is just on another stratosphere. I don't even think he knew it was going to be that big either. Like, it just happened that way. And for whatever reason, he was just doing it. Like, that's my perspective on him. Maybe other people disagree.
Well, yeah, he had a lot of things going for himself, right? He was like a UFC dude, and then he did like announcing for UFC, right? Like commentary or whatever. And so
yeah, very successful.
He's been in the game for a while, right? Yeah. So he got hit in the head a lot, and he learned how to put a bit together, put a bit into a set. He did stand up as well, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was doing his own thing, and he was the host of Fear Factor. That was really his breaking moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never even saw that.
Yeah, so that was it, and obviously he was always doing stand-up comedy.
But he was the host of Fear Factor because of those other things, right? Because he was doing the fighting and doing the comedy.
Well, he wasn't a fighter, but he did Muay Thai.
He didn't get in the ring though and like fight UFC. I thought he did.
Nah, not UFC. No.
Did he fight at all?
Yeah, he competed. He was a national champion in I think Muay Thai.
Muay Thai, okay.
Or something else, something like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know much about him, but yeah, he's a good like archetype for that type of gig. And all those, you got to remember too, like all those rings go together. Like the comedy dudes cross promote the fights, and the fights cross promote the other. All that form of entertainment industry functions as a single entity.
Hold up here.
It's the entertainment industry. A lot of dudes from academia are in it too. Like I notice a lot of teachers over here do the stand-up comedy as a way to, blow off steam. Not very many of them are fighters though, but there is some fighting cross promotion. And some of the fighters like to try to get up and do some stand-up comedy, but they're usually not very good at it.
Um,
But it requires kind
yeah,
of fighter's mentality. It's like every time you get on stage, you're getting in the ring. You know what I mean? Can you still hear me?
yeah, like comedy is just, I don't know, it's a delicate thing. And if you do it wrong, it could be like disrespectful.
Okay, yeah, this guy says he kickboxed. Yeah, Muay Thai, that's kickboxing, right?
Yeah, yeah, he did something. He did something where he was a national champion and he stopped at around 24.
Okay, cool. So he was more of the entertainment angle then the whole time, right?
But yeah, I don't know how he started doing the UFC. He always did it, and he's done it for a long time. And he just had some sort of relationship with Dana White, but I don't know why or how.
Oh yeah. Now Dana White was he's the promoter or the producer of
Yeah, I don't even know how that would work, but yeah, he's like the owner, I guess, and promoter, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of the UFC, which is kind of hit its peak. I feel like with Conor McGregor, and ever since then, it's kind of just been on the downswing a little bit.
How's it? Yeah, Conor McGregor, he was the Irishman that kind of fought really well, right?
Yeah, and then he broke his leg, like traumatically broke it, like super traumatic leg injury, fucking to his shin or something, like completely in the middle of a fight, and literally just his leg just snapped, and yeah, it was disgusting, and I seen it in real time, and again, and he had to put metal rods in his shin, and dude, when you do that, you're never the same.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I watched one of his recent fights. Maybe it's a couple of years old. Is he still fighting?
He hasn't fought ever since he's done the injury.
When did that happen?
Dude, it's been years. Like,
did you know Rogan's from Jersey?
What's up?
Did you know Rogan is from New Jersey? Newark.
Yeah, he like was born there, and then his mom, he lived with, like, his mom took him away, and they moved to California, so he didn't really grow up in New Jersey like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it says he moved to San Francisco when he was 5.
Yeah, and like his dad was not really in his life, and then, like, you know, New Jersey compared to California, he was more liberal leaning, his dad. So I can see, like more speaking about his mom, like maybe his mom and his dad like kind of had like this basic philosophical fundamental disagreement, and that's probably what happened there.
Yeah, his parents got divorced, then his mother remarried. Then he moved to Newton, Upper Falls, Massachusetts, where he went to high school and graduated in 85. So he's a little older than me. I graduated in 92. He's like 7 years older than me.
Damn, he's older?
Yeah, a little bit.
I didn't even think about that like that.
Rogan martial arts. He did Taekwondo, eventually joined.
Taekwondo, that was it.
Yeah, it says he won the U.S. Open Taekwondo Championship lightweight title when he was 19. Wow, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, no, he's definitely qualified to do the UFC.
And he defeated middleweight and heavyweight title holders when he was a 19-year-old lightweight. That's fucking badass, bro. That really is badass.
Nah, he's legit. He's legit as fuck.
Yeah, he knew how to kick a motherfucker in the face, man. That's a big deal.
There's videos of him like doing like a spinning kick. Like he was like that was like his specialty.
It says he began doing stand-up comedy in Boston in the late 80s. So yeah, in his early 20s.
Yeah, like
in the
a Boston guy or something. He's like all over the place. I don't know.
In the 90s, he moved to New York and developed an edgier blue comedy style, inspired by comedians like Sam Kinison and Bill Hicks. He was originally inspired by Richard.
Kinison is fire.
He said he was originally inspired by Richard Pryor though, so that's interesting.
Well, everybody was,
Yeah, Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy both. Yeah, they were fucking awesome.
Yeah, like that's not really saying much,
Right.
That's like
I would
saying-
attribute I would attribute my original comedy inspiration to them as well.
There's this one guy. I forget his name. Doug Stanhope. Have you heard of him?
No. Go ahead though.
He's funny as fuck, dude. He's like a Rogan guy, kinda, but he's. You would like him, I think. Maybe he's very funny. Just pure comedian, no gimmick bullshit. Just really funny. He's funny, and it's like enlightening as well in his own way. He's funny. He's like if like some like college retard became enlightened, but still was a college retard, that would be him. They gamble on sports, drink beer, but he just says like these insightful things. It's really good. He's more of maybe like a mid 2000s comedian.
Okay.
That was his prime.
Yeah, so it says Rogan became friends with Dana White from his career and like you're right, his notability in Fear Factor.
Yeah, that would make sense. But you know what? You know what makes more sense? Dana White's a Boston guy. So that might be a connection there. And he owned bars and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then Rogan, it says Dana White liked him because knew a lot about combat sports and was really enthusiastic about fights. And so he made a good commentator. He did that for 20 years.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, seriously. Like, yeah. Like, yeah. And even Donald Trump has ties with the early roots of the UFC as well. A lot of
Yeah, absolutely. Did Trump ever do anything with the World Wrestling Federation or WWF, WWE?
I'm not sure, honestly, but I know that like Donald Trump let Dana do UFC events. Like this was like in the early beginning in Atlantic City because nobody else would let him give him the licensing and permission to do it. Because at the time there was like the stigma about it was too gory and kind of maybe unethical. But
that makes
Atlantic
sense.
City, man.
Oops.
Have you ever been there?
No, I've never been to it, but I really enjoyed the TV series Boardwalk Empire, and that's what it's about.
That's what it's about, really. I've heard of it, but I didn't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's so
man,
fucking good. So good. You
Atlantic
gotta watch
City
it.
is very dangerous. Even for someone like me, I would not go out there at night. It's very dangerous. You will run into trouble, without a doubt. I mean,
It's
it is
mafia
like
run, right?
just black people and drugs. Lots of drug addicts, lots of drugs and violence, and it's a very small, condensed city, so there's not really many places to go. So it's all that. Like, it's the casino and stuff, but it has so much potential, but it's just the drugs there. It's really bad.
Yeah, and you know that all of that was done by design, right?
I would like to think not. It's very unfortunate.
There's papers on it. Like they flooded the inner cities with recent African immigrants, Somalia, all kinds of different places, Cambodia,
Oh my
fucking
God.
deepest,
We haven't
darkest
even talked
Africa.
about that.
And then they jacked them all up on crack rock and gave them all gangster rap in order to make it a very treacherous
difficult thing for the average individual to survive in, because the moneyed families had already elevated themselves above it, and they've all got their own armed bodyguards and their own networks to exist. So they wanted that supercharged, dangerous racial environment around them so that nobody else could challenge their power.
It's gotten out of control. I mean, you look at have you ever seen the movie or heard of it, Rounders? The movie Rounders?
I haven't, no.
It's a movie about poker. It's pretty good. I mean, if you want, you could just watch it. But the reason why I bring it up is because the Taj Mahal, Trump's Taj Mahal, was like the mecca of poker during the time of making of this film. And, for it to be like that, and for Trump to just bring so much, I mean, dude, he's a fucking genius. You don't understand. This guy is smart. Like, just the vision you have to have and do and execute it the way he did, and the vision is still there to this day. It's just not being properly executed. But
who,
my point
Mr. T?
Say again?
Mr. T? Trump?
Mr. Trump, he's very smart.
I mean, does Rounders kind of portray his story or whatever?
No, but it portrays the Taj Mahal as this luxurious, beautiful, like heaven-like dream for poker players. And
okay, I'll have to check it out.
And now, obviously, as you know, the Taj Mahal, and it showed images of the Taj Mahal then, and I think it showed Trump as well. He got maybe a cameo. I can't remember exactly, but
okay,
it portrays this as it being like a place everyone in the world would want to go to if you play poker, right? You understand? So
yeah.
It was the Mecca, and now, due to drugs, violence, degeneracy, it's all gone. It's not. I don't know if you're aware, but the Taj Mahal has been gone for 10 years, and when it officially closed, it was the end of an era. It was a huge deal for many reasons.
Well, for that area anyway, he set up shop other places. I mean, Trump's opened quite a few more luxury resorts since then.
Exactly, but what he did with that area, you have to be there to understand it. You really do.
Okay. Is that near where you live?
It's not near where I live, but it's drivable, like an hour and maybe close to 2 hours. And it's not like a horrible drive. And
why does DJ Emo say that Edward Norton was Rounders? I thought Edward Norton was the fictional character in Fight Club.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know who Edward Norton is. It's pretty much irrelevant because just Atlantic City, because when you go there, you see the layout, you see the potential it has, but the surrounding area, literally, I don't even know how to describe it, a coloring book, everything else around this one area, it's just just desolate, just bad. It's just bad, and it's obviously bad, and it's not good. And if people could get the proper funding, resources, technology, and programs down there, we could actually fix it, and it could be what it once was, which was super thriving and a place everyone around the world would want to attend.
Yeah, that's hard to do though. You gotta get rid of some of the usual suspects, or at least
get rid of the drugs, and it starts with the children, educating the children,
absolutely,
making sure they have resources to succeed, show that, because it's an IQ thing. People don't understand that this is about intelligence. Oh God, it's about intelligence. It doesn't take a genius to see that, selling drugs and doing, you would want to go to college, but they don't see it like that. It's because they're uninformed.
Yeah, I got you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got some stuff going on here at the house. I'm gonna have to fucking roll off into the abodes of the future pretty quick. What do you got going on for the rest of the night? What do you want to say to the people as we taper down here towards the end of the show? It's good having you up again. Free gift from God.
Thank you. Grateful for the platform. Grateful for DJ Emo. And 3 hours is long enough. So, and thank you, Frank, for having me on.
Yeah, it's good magic. It's good fun. It's good to hear all the updates, what's going on with you in Jersey and stuff. And yeah, quite a podcast, man. Quite a show today. Wouldn't have been half the show if you hadn't shown up. So good magic on you, man. And you got anything going on the YouTubes? Like once you start getting some bits and sets together and doing some stand up, you're definitely going to want to film a little bit of it and maybe throw them up here for the people to watch.
Maybe that's a goal. You know, we'll see. I do have a job, so I don't want to do or say anything that could affect that. I don't know how you navigate through that, but yeah.
Yeah, just make a stage name and don't let anybody know where you work. Never let them know your real name.
Yeah, right. Because with the internet and stuff, you can find out. Yeah, the name is everything.
Don't ever start a LinkedIn profile.
Oh my God, I do have one, but my goal is I never update it until I'm done with that company.
I got you. That makes sense. Yeah.
That's how it should be done. That's how people should be taught. Because you don't need a LinkedIn with your current job on it. It doesn't make sense, really, unless you're like really
Right.
high-ranking official and you need it.
Yeah, keep your anonymity when you do stand up. Maybe even wear a disguise.
But thank you, man. This guy keeps going on. Nice chilled vibes than usual. Panel verse lark. Not sure what that means, but yeah, it was good, man. And hopefully we can do this more. Maybe less time, more focus.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, man. Always usually at the weekend when I got a little time on, like Saturday mornings and stuff. We're actually off for the holiday, so that was cool. We got a couple of days off for the new year. Did you ring in the new year in style? Did you have a good time?
Nah, I just worked. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You had mentioned that. Yeah, no better way, man. Fuck, ring in the new year, grinding in some cash. That's good magic, man. I can appreciate it.
Yeah. Hopefully that is the whatever statement of the year or foreshadowing of the year. But yep, that was exactly what happened. I got paid today, whatever.
Yeah, good magic. Yeah, I worked too, and then I just kind of slept through it, just chilled with my family, and then spent the next day just kind of more enjoying on the first day of the new year than anything else. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, keep in touch, man, and update me in the Discords. You notice I checked the Discords today, so we'll keep the conversation going over there. And anybody out there in Happy Land that doesn't know, they can join the Discords, Lunar Light Entertainment. And yeah, blessings to you, free gift from God.
Yeah, man, thank you so much. And I'll leave that there and sign off. Thank you to everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, good magic, man. Appreciate free gift from God stopping by. Appreciate you, DJ Emo. Give a little shout out to everybody out here in Happy Land. Dr. D was in the house for a bit. I think I saw some others. I'm scrolling back here through the conversations. NPC the Game stopped by for a minute. Appreciate that. Ariel Appier stopped by for a minute. Can't read that Greek name really. Kill AI 96 was in the house. And a couple of other good looking sexy people out there in Happy Land. Big shout out to DJ Emo. Appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate the feedback. I'm gonna sign off with the invocation of Tahuti. Israel Regardie. He's gonna get it for us.
Invocation of Thoth. Procul, O procul esti profani, or lasti ompeda. In the name of the mighty and terrible one, I proclaim that I have banished the shells unto their habitations. I invoke Tahuti, the Lord of wisdom and of utterance, the God that cometh forth from the veil. O thou majesty of the Godhead, wisdom-crowned Tahuti, Lord of the gates of the universe, thee I invoke. O thou of the ibis head, thee I invoke. Thou who wieldest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest in thy left hand the rose and cross of light and life, thee I invoke. Thou whose head is as an emerald, and thy nemes as the night sky blue, thee I invoke. Thou whose skin is of flaming orange as though it burned in a furnace, thee I invoke. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. I am born again and again. Mine is the unseen force whereof the gods are sprung, which is as life unto the dwellers in the watchtowers of the universe. I am the charioteer of the east, Lord of the past and of the future. I see by mine own inward light, Lord of resurrection, who cometh forth from the dust, and my birth is from the house of death. O ye two divine hawks upon your pinnacles, who keep watch over the universe, ye who accompany the bier to the house of rest, who pilot the ship of wrong, ever advancing onwards the heights of heaven, Lord of the shrine which standeth on high. I tread upon the firmament of new. I raise that flashing flame with the lightning of mine eye, ever rushing on in the splendor of the daily glorified Ra, giving my life to the dwellers of earth. If I say, come up upon the mountains, the celestial waters shall flow at my word. For I am Ra incarnate, Heph-Ra, created in the flesh. I am the eidolon of my father Tamu, Lord of the city of the sun. The God who commands is in my mouth. The God of wisdom is in my heart. My tongue is the sanctuary of truth, and a guard sitteth upon my lips. My word is accomplished every day, and the desire of my heart realizes itself as that of Ptah when he createth his works. I am eternal, therefore all things are as my designs, therefore do all things obey my word. Therefore do thou come forth unto me from thine abode in the silence, unutterable wisdom, or light, or power. So, Hermes, Mercury, Odin, by whatever name I call thee, thou art still nameless to eternity. Come thou forth, I say, and aid and guard me in this work of art. Thou, star of the east, that didst conduct the Magi, thou art the same all-present in heaven and in hell. Thou that vibratest between the light and the darkness, rising, descending, changing ever, yet ever the same. The sun is thy father, thy mother the moon. The wind hath borne thee in its bosom, and earth hath ever nourished the changeless Godhead of thy youth. Come thou forth, I say, come thou forth, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God the Vast One may be obedient unto me.
Orders commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. All right, y'all good-looking, sexy people. I hope you keep shaking your moneymaker out there in Happy Land. Get busy getting busy and doing good magic, man. Until we meet again in the abodes of the future. Make sure you check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Put a little something in the tip jar. Get a jiggy wiggy with it. Make it happen with the wishy-washy dish soap. Keep them balls squeaky clean over at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. That entitles you to a 20% discount off the 5-pound box of wishy-washy dish soap, which you can find at Thompson's 5 and Dime.
Till next time, I appreciate you being here. I am your friend and well-wisher, Francis Lunas Aristeas, Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, wishing you well, Wayfarer. Much love and blessings in the new year. Bye for now.